The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
2023 is already shaping up to be a hell of a year for horror. I mean, look at what we got coming up. We got the Evil Dead Rise. We got a whole bunch of other stuff. We got the new Nicolas Cage Dracula movie, which Renfield. That's it. And but we also got a sequel to Becky coming up, and I don't know if Kurgan's going to make a heroic return and give our hero Bex here a nice chokeslam through a canoe or something. But also we're looking at Eli Roth's finally getting around to doing that Thanksgiving movie that for the faux trailer that he made for Grindhouse so many years ago. So it looks like we're finally getting that, and I'm excited for that. I've never been excited for an Eli Roth film. I could finally say I'm excited for one. And that's a happy thing. And I'm happy. I'm sure you're happy. The cat right next to me is happy. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome to episode 546 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein, also at the Lair of Lost Swag within the Raven Chateau, and also Casa de Zero. That's what we call it. I remember this week. We are broadcasting from 3 locations. We are godless this week once again. Unfortunately, I don't know, like godlike. I don't know, errands to run. Like what's he doing, Raven Shadow?
Got a lot of problems.
He's got a lot of problems.
Yeah. You know,
godlike problems or what?
Yeah. I mean, there's still the Kosovo incident is still in effect.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Ukraine. Ukraine's thing.
Yeah, why doesn't he just go in there and fucking take care of that shit, you know?
Seriously.
Because he can't afford a ticket.
He's a god.
Yeah.
So
first class is expensive.
That is true. He should get free first class just for cutting down a burning tree.
You would think so, but
oh, I don't know if MZ, did you know that Ares cut down a tree while it was burning?
Really?
Yeah, that happened last year. So
that is godlike.
There's video of it too. He showed video. It's pretty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, the best part was the firefighters taking the video. They were like,
we ain't touching that. Let's let this fucking idiot do it. All right, so on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the film Candyland. It's written and directed by John Swab, and it stars some interesting folks who we'll be talking about. Had an interesting cast, some up and comers, some old standbys, and some people that I've never seen before. So, yeah, looking forward to talking about that movie. It'll be an interesting discussion, that's for sure. And but MZ came back. I wasn't sure, but here you are, 2 consecutive weeks. MZ, you came back.
Yep, it's back to back. If I come back next week, it'll be 3 in a row. It has happened before.
Yes, too many times. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Raven Shadow, what's up, man? I haven't even said hello to you yet.
hey, baby.
Hey.
Was he your baby?
Yes, tonight.
Speaking of MZ's babies, Creepy Girl's in the chat room. It says,
hey.
Good evening, gang. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th. You know what? I didn't actually know that.
Reppin'.
You are repping.
Reppin'.
Oh, yeah, fucking like Nicholas Winding repping.
Speaking of him, he has a new show on Netflix that just dropped called Copenhagen Cowboy. and you guys check that out?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Nope. But the weekend's coming up.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I like him. I want him to do more movies, but he's been doing series lately. But
Oh, this is an episodic thing, huh?
yeah. So let's see. All right, so we right off the top we talked about what we're up to, and I guess that's it. All right, show's over. No, actually, I just remembered last week, MZ, at the end of the show, I mentioned Ruggiero Diodato because we didn't really have a chance to talk about it. So I figured before we forget, do you want to talk a little bit about the maestro, who unfortunately passed away? Was it about a week and a half ago, I think?
Yeah. Yeah. That, say what you want about the guy. He was more than just cannibals. Okay. He was no, really. He was westerns. He was romance. He was action, science fiction. He was uh, director, writer, producer. I mean, he's more than just cannibals. Okay.
Plunker.
But he is best known for being in the cannibal genre and subgenre, and of course, it laid a very indelible effect on me and how I view filmmaking, and that it's not always a safe thing. It's not always clean. It's not always professional. It's not. It's even not always legal.
Yeah.
Well, he landed himself in court because of that, because of Cannibal Holocaust. But I mean,
didn't he ever end up in prison? Just like he got
I
arrested and then like was released, I think, or something like that. Right?
Yeah. Well, he had to show up to court to prove that the people that were in the film that died were actually actors and actresses, and they're very much alive, and they were. But the Diodato that I knew, that I got to work with back in April 2010, that was a blast. He's funny. He's inquisitive. He was he was serious about his business too. He it was no joke to him. He was very adamant about filmmaking and telling a story. Smart, just an all around really pleasant person to be around. It's funny. I think I posted on Facebook back in the day when I found out that he died. I posted a video of him with David Hess when they worked together on House on the Edge of the Park, which I find to be a great sleaze fest flick. If you've never seen it, I urge you to check it out. It is sleazy, dirty, and just nasty. But there's a scene where, not a scene, but there was a time at Chiller where Hess and Diodato, they're taking a picture with this girl, right? And I'm capturing all this, taking a picture with this girl. She's in the middle. He's on her right. Hess is on her left. Now I missed it, but Hess said something to Diodato, and next thing I know, Diodato takes his free right hand, goes over the girl, and fucking waffles Hess dead in the face.
Jesus.
And of course, we're all around here watching this, and the first thing there were two things that came to our mind. The first was, what the fuck just happened? And the second thing was, we got to get the fuck out of here. Because, I mean, even though Hess was an actor and, very nice guy, he has that demeanor about him that is very threatening. he looks like the kind of guy who could just fuck the worst possible way. He just looks it, you know. And I'll tell you, Hess is the only guy I could say that I was ever really truly nervous about meeting. Never mind working with, but meeting. And at the end of the weekend, him and we talked and we became good friends and we started talking, and I did a couple interviews with him. One of them being the last one being one of his last interviews ever. So I take that with great pride, you know. Because I am a Hess fan, but we're talking about Deodato.
It's related.
Yeah, he was very controversial, very energetic person too, I might say, but a load of laughs, very funny at times, very very sincere about his craft. And you know, he's missed. I mean, he left a mark. He left a huge mark in the horror world, and I can't say enough good things about the man, or just things about the man. I mean, whether they're good, bad, or just indifferent. Just very good, very nice guy, and he will be missed. I even had his phone number for a time, which I don't have anymore, but I did have it for a while.
Well, but, I mean, no offense, but if you try to call, I don't think anyone's going to answer, unfortunately.
No, I don't. No, nobody will answer.
Pick up.
Or if you did, that would be fucking weird.
Yeah, right.
If Deodato from beyond the grave.
Oh yeah, he would be like. You could just picture that about him. He'd be like, just with his hands up in the air, like looking all confused. He was a piss of that guy. He was a hot shit. He was funny, and sad to see him go. But you know, we all have to go sometime. And hey, the guy made what was he? 83. You know, that's not such a bad run.
No, for sure. And you know, as MZ has stated, you know, he was a sort of a trailblazer in a way. Not, you know, we've debated this. It wasn't the first found footage film, but it might have been the most impactful, at least of its time. You know, like if you take all the different found footage films and when they were released, like this one had the biggest like uproar, you know, like because people legit thought it was real, you know. So, you know, that's not something you can really do anymore. I mean, Blair Witch was the closest thing, and I don't think we'll have anything like that again. You know, we did that film Antrim. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
Which, you know, which was, I think, well done. But I think that it still was like, yeah, you can kind of tell. Like, you know, it's difficult to do that sort of thing, and he pulled it off and was so successful that he got arrested and had to go to court about it, you know.
Yeah, he definitely had to go to court for it, and even was it Sergio Leone? I think it was Sergio Leone said that the second half of the whole movie's a masterpiece as far as Sergio Leone's concerned, but the second half of that movie cannot be touched ever. And that's according to Leone. He says the second part is truly a masterpiece. And I agree. It's a hard film. And I mean, you know, ever since Blair Witch Project, ever since then now, for the past 23, 24 years now, everyone's making found footage films. And it's easy to see why. I mean, it's you know, it's cheap. It's fairly easy to make. All you need is just a simple story, and the camera really does the rest of the work.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing is you can do a lot of first-person type shots, and you don't have to have a lot of, you know, elaborate set design, you know, things like that. So yeah, I mean, you're right. You can typically do them on a little bit cheaper, but you want to make them look good as well. So if you have some money to put into it, then obviously you can make it even better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I feel like if you weren't on the show, when he passed, I probably would have asked you to come on for that episode because I know how big of a fan you are. I mean, damn, like I think it's in your email. Like I think
I have
Deodato,
two emails
yeah.
That I have. Well, don't tell anybody.
Well, I'm not.
but I own only two emails, and both emails are dedicated to Deodato.
Yeah, that's true. So there you have it. Got some thoughts. MZ spent some time with the man, and as he said, even at one time had his phone number. So, I think it was only appropriate that we had MZ comment, and I would say that he probably outside of MZ, I think I would say that we're casual fans. Raven Shadow and I, like, very casual. But I mean, he had.
Well, you like Interceptors of Atlantis.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, but Raiders of Atlantis, like that
Raiders
alone is like, that's like fucking god level for the show. That alone, let alone Cannibal Holocaust as well.
And if you ever get the chance, check out his documentary, Deodato Holocaust. I believe it's streaming on let's see. Well, on one of the apps that I own is Midnight Pulp.
Yeah.
And I believe it's playing on that app. It might be playing on others like it, but I'm on Midnight Pulp, and that movie, that the documentary is playing on there, and it's a good documentary. It's fun. The great thing about that is the ending, because I won't go into detail what happens, but Deodato just starts going off on the interviewers, on one particular interviewer who asked him a question, and he is like flipping out.
Looks like you can rent it on Amazon Prime. So, if someone wanted to just check it out, Deodato Holocaust is available for $3 rental on Prime, and I'm looking to see if it's still on Midnight Pulp. I'll continue to look and see.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that alone, Atlantis, Interceptors, Raiders of Atlantis, whatever you want to call it, House on the Edge of the Park, Cannibal Holocaust, Jungle Holocaust. Those are probably the ones that immediately come to mind for people. Are there any others that you would? The Barbarians. Fuck.
Yeah, the Barbarians.
Yeah.
And Cut and Run with Michael Berryman and god damn it, what's his name? If you can't get Rutger Hauer, you get
Richard Lynch.
Richard Lynch, yeah. Richard Lynch.
Eric LaSalle. Eric LaSalle's in it.
Body Count. Yeah, Eric LaSalle's in it as well.
Nice.
And so is Willie Ames.
And also another friend of yours, Barbara Magnolfi.
Barbara Magnolfi, yeah, she plays at the very beginning of the film, she plays the woman who is carrying a baby through an airport security, and it's not really a baby. And it's something else. I won't say what. And also what's the name of it? Body Count from 1986. Deodato decided to jump in real late into the slasher genre and come up with Body Count, and that stars David Hess, has Charles Napier, Mimsy Farmer, and that's an underrated flick, I think. I've
actually never seen it. Yeah,
and Nancy Briley from Demons 2. It's an underrated slasher. I can understand why some people might not have liked it, because it's not your conventional slasher. It feels very Italian. and Ivan Rasimov is also in it. But check it out. You should check it out. I think people would be pleasantly surprised with it.
All right. Let me catch up on the chat room here. Casual Noob Sabat is hanging out. Says, "Hey boys, I have a video review of Candyland on my YouTube for the show tonight." Sounds good, Casual. I just realized I should probably I'll subscribe to Casual Noob Sabat so I can have his videos appear in my feed when I look at them. But so I have that. I'll play that later on. And also, Francisco Vera says, "Hi guys, greetings from Chile once again." And he said, "Welcome back, MZ."
Thank you, buddy.
I remember Francisco. Yeah. Good to see you, man. Good to have you on board. Thanks for tuning in, and always good to hear from our brothers and sisters from Chile. Right, Raven Shadow?
Bambaleo. What time is it over?
Why is that your first question? Do you know?
Because fascinated.
Do you know that they're in the same general hemisphere?
Well, I guess if I knew that, I wouldn't ask the question. You know what I mean? Like, there's those things like, I don't know about your work job, but my work job, if it's like, hey, what about this? And they'll say, well, if you remember, the email, I'm like, well, no, I guess I didn't remember the email. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask the question and be made to feel emasculated. How about you just answer
I'm not trying to emasculate you. I'm just trying to say.
No.
What?
I'm just projecting. It's like, can I go to the bathroom? I don't know. Can you?
What time do you think it is in Chile right now?
Party time, baby.
Jesus Christ. Give me a time. Just guess.
PM.
Do you know where Chile is?
Not really. It's South America, right? It's South America below us? Yeah, probably around 7:15 p.m.
Which coast of South America?
Fuck. Middle.
What?
Middle coast.
What?
The left, the starboard, the port side.
Oh
it's
my
left.
God.
No, the left side.
Time zones are weird, huh, Raven Shadow?
They're fucking weird. I don't know how they work. It's kind of made
like
made
magnets.
This is just like magnets.
Anyways, Raven Shadow, they're 2 hours ahead of us. Okay.
Okay. It's.
So because now, as of right now, it is 8:42 Eastern Standard Time. So if they're 2 hours ahead of us, what does that mean?
10:42.
You're learning.
Ah.
Boy, talk about a sigh of relief.
Big ups to Chile.
Big up the Chile.
Big ups to Chile. What, the food?
Yeah. No, the place. It's where they invented chili.
I'm pretty sure you say Chile, not Chile.
They didn't invent chili in Chile.
Well, that's fucking stupid if they didn't. But yeah, no, I love Chile all day, baby. You know how I do.
Yeah, especially with sour cream, right?
Yeah,
with sour cream and cheese and some green onions on top.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Black olives.
No fucking black olives.
Why?
Come on. Black olives on chili?
In
Black
Chile.
olives. That's gross.
No.
Well, Raven Shadow would have black olives in pretty much anything.
Yeah.
That blueberry yogurt. It's fucking fun.
All right. And more chat. Evil Corny says the first episode of Copenhagen Cowboy was okay. I don't think I'd binge it, though. And Creepy Girl says, I don't know, I got through 3. I'm intrigued about the blonde guy. The web gets more tangled as you go. Talking about Copenhagen Cowboy.
Shit.
So,
Nicholas, where is this streaming?
It is on Netflix.
Okay.
The latest from Nicholas Winding Reppin, as Raven Shadow said earlier.
Nicholas Winding representing.
Oh, MZ also mentioned Renfield in the opening. I can't help but whenever I hear the name Renfield, think of our bit.
Touch my ass cane.
Renfield, bring me my ass cane. I don't even remember like where that came from, or I don't remember much about that.
Probably better off.
Renfield.
That's my ass, Kane. I have an important announcement to make.
Wow. Okay. Should we be
Over-
afraid?
You should be impressed
Okay.
because over this past weekend, your boy, along with Marion, watched 2 movies over 2 hours apiece in one sitting.
Oh. Were you awake?
Praise me. Yeah. Basically,
What were
yeah.
they?
No,
What movie?
one was Captain Fantastic, which is not a Marvel movie. I found that out 20 minutes in. Didn't have Kang in it. But have you heard about that? It's with Viggo Mortensen, Captain Fantastic. Right? That was a thing. Johnny's eating fucking kale. But yeah, it was a movie. And as mentioned before, it's a fucked up movie. If you haven't seen it, basically Viggo is in the woods. He's raising his family, Swiss Family Robinson style, away from the world. He's almost training them to become like super soldiers in a weird way. It reminded me a little bit of like a darker take on like Little Miss Sunshine, because it gets a little bit less dark as it goes, but Viggo does pull off his DSO business. He does go full frontal.
That's why you watch it. You wanted to see if it's consistent.
Yeah, and I mean, I had Marion was over last night, and we kind of got a little argument. Like I thought he was 6 soft. You know what I mean?
Wait, what? You thought he was what?
6 soft.
What's 6 soft?
You talking?
6
Wait, you're talking about him being a DSO?
Yeah.
And so 6 inches?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I thought he was an impressive 6 inches soft.
Okay, you
You
got to
can't-
elaborate because
Oh, okay.
Come on,
it sounded
Coney
like
knows.
6 soft.
Oh, no.
I thought you said 6 soft at first. So okay.
No, I thought he was 6 inches soft, which is pretty impressive because if he gets the full power, you know, he'll be crumb. You know what I mean? But
That's like the song from Sneaker Pimps, 6 Underground. It's now 6 soft.
kind of like that. Look at it. But Marion says that he was more 4 soft. But
Well, I mean, depends on point of view and perspective, right?
which I did say that, and he wasn't fully. So I felt that if he had like whacked the weeds a little bit, he would look more and more impressive.
You should tell him, give him that feedback.
Yeah, Viggo,
You should
call
let
me.
him know. Send him send him a Manscaped or something else.
It's like when you measure, you always measure from the base. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So
Just
this guy
me.
would have no trouble hitting the shower if he was to take a piss from your toilet.
It's a very small bathroom. You've been there.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
Yo
could
Corny
probably-
wants to know, Raven Chat, are you trying Depends? Is that how you're keeping from not going to the bathroom every 10 minutes?
What?
And you picture this guy wearing Depends.
He said you said you watched movie in one sitting. So Corey's saying you didn't go to the bathroom, so you must have had
No.
Depends on.
No. I mean, they didn't pass out or try to escape.
Did Marion use what's that stuff called? Oh shit. The stuff you put in a rag and put over someone's mouth. What is that?
Oh,
Chlorophyll.
Yeah, just use chloroform on you.
chlorophyll is fucking plants. Chloroform is the, yeah. No, you can pause, go to the bathroom, make a little dinner. Go for a smoke.
That's not one sitting.
It was the same time zone.
Oh,
Big ups, chill.
Marion just posted a picture of his ram. That picture. Wow. All right, Vigo.
Yeah. I think he's at least 6 soft. 6 to 8 soft.
Six
No,
soft.
that's not. No, that's not 6.
Are you trying to create a new term for this kind
Yeah,
of
he
shit?
is. Yeah, you try
No,
like most people have like hashtags on social media. But Raven Shadow tries to create ridiculous like hashtag like things on the radio. It doesn't really work.
Well, to be fair, years
Hash browns 6 soft.
So what's the other movie?
Thank you.
And
Top Gun
how much Full Frontal was in it?
Not enough. I mean, it came pretty close during the beach scene, but it was Top Gun's Maverick.
Top Gun's Maverick.
Yeah.
That's the name of it, huh?
Well, it's Maverick, the Top Gun. I'm not sure how it is. I'm not sure I'm not sure how it came out in Chile, but it was fine. You know what I mean?
Really, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard a lot of people raving about it, like that it's better than the original.
I mean, it was a good movie star blockbuster. Like, it was fine, little feel good, but like, I'm not shelling it, and people loved it, but I just don't get how it did that much business. Maybe the nostalgia. I mean, it was fun.
Definitely nostalgia for sure. I mean, and plus,
nostalgia played a huge part. Yeah,
and Tom Foos, he's still like one of the biggest like movie stars in going right now.
Tom Foos.
Val Kilmer is a picture of health.
That was rough. that was rough. He's Ice is a very important role in the picture. He does have one scene that is a little bit challenging. Because obviously what he's going through. It wasn't a bad movie. It was really good. But I don't understand that it was a Hollywood blockbuster, which is fine. I just don't get that the business that it did. I'm not hating it, but it kind of got a little bit Iron Eagle too. Just saying.
I'll tell you, I've never even seen Top Gun.
Oh my God, this is like a fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark situation here.
I have never seen Top Gun. I have no interest in Top Gun. I mean, honestly, I have no idea what the plot's about. I think you do. Is it about the guy getting the girl? Yeah. Is it about the guy getting the girl? Is it about the guy getting the promotion to general or whatever? Is it about defeating the enemy? I mean, I have no clue.
It's all about Goose Man.
Who's Gooseman?
Who's Gooseman?
He's Tom Foos' accountant.
Oh, Cruz Gooseman.
Cruz Gooseman.
Oh, shit, that's my new Alias hotel rooms. That's
Cruz.
Cruz Gooseman, potty at 12, please.
That's good. I like that. Cruz Gooseman.
The airplane king of Chicago.
Tom Foos and Cruz Gooseman.
So I mean, I've never seen Top Gun. I have no idea what it's about, and I still have no interest in it.
It's really
it doesn't impress me.
Yeah.
Playing with the Boys.
Oh my Lord, you remember that song?
Yeah, you know that song, "Playing with the Boys," right? Kenny Loggins.
You know what the weird thing is? I used to have the soundtrack to the movie, but I'd never seen the movie. I did have. Yeah.
How many times did you listen to Danger Zone?
I'd rather not say.
And to be fair, that does kick off the opening. It's in there. We saw that on my birthday. I think it might have been whenever it came out, I guess. But yeah, that was my birthday party.
86.
Yeah. Okay. 86. That was fun.
You know,
it was.
I want to play a game. Let me see if I can. Okay, I'm gonna play a game with MC since he's never seen it. I'm gonna read you 2 synopsises, MZ, and I want you to guess which one is Top Gun. Okay.
Okay.
So first one, a young pilot plans a rescue mission when his father, an Air Force colonel, is shot down over enemy territory and captured. That's the first one. Second one, as students at the United States Navy's elite fighter weapons school compete to be the best in the class, one daring young pilot learns a few things from a civilian instructor that are not taught in the classroom. You can just say one or two.
A or B or okay.
Yeah, A or B, yeah.
Okay, B.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, look at that. Impressive. The other one was Iron Eagle. MZ's like, well, of course, I know that because I've seen it 300 times.
Well, that's just it. I have seen Iron Eagle.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
a fuck-
I can't believe you actually assumed that I have not seen Iron Eagle.
Well,
Shame on you.
it doesn't mean you remember the synopsis. I don't know. I forget.
If I remember the movie, I remember the synopsis.
You can't remember what you ate this morning, but you remember movies like crazy. It's like it's nuts.
To be fair, Iron Eagle, before it was even mentioned in Cobra Kai, I was a mark for. And that had a fucking Queen soundtrack. Top Gun had Kenny Loggins, who's fine, but he's no fucking Freddie Mercury.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll co-sign that.
Yeah.
And actually, also, if you couldn't get Rutger Hauer and you couldn't get the guy from Puppet Master, you would get Tim Thomerson.
Tim Thomerson was up. He was up there, I think, for a little while.
Tim Thomerson?
I'm a mark.
Yeah. Well, he's doll man. He got around. He's small and tiny, but he's powerful. He carries a weapon.
Let me check. The chat room was going nuts now from this. Marion said Maverick is very derivative of Star Wars. That's interesting.
That could be fair too. Yeah.
Creepy Girl said, I didn't like that much Maverick. The ending was good. The rest was Tom Cruise trying to be cool. Creepy Girl also says original Top Gun was amazing. And then when she found out MZ hasn't seen it, she said, what? Top Gun is good. You need to watch it. Add that to your list of movies I tell you to watch and never do.
Excuse me, babe, but I do watch the movies. I'm just trying to find the time for it. Like she's recommending Slashback to me. She's been recommending Slashback to me.
Yeah.
And so this weekend I'm finally going to get around to watching it.
Nice.
Maybe even tomorrow night at this time.
Whoa. Evil Corny says, take my breath away as MZ's Careless Whisper. MZ doesn't know the Careless Whisper joke because that was the Rocky show, right? When Rocky was on last month.
I think so. Yeah. It was Aries. It was Aries theme.
Creepy Girl says, if you like Iron Eagle, you should love Top Gun, MZ.
Well, is Louis Gossett Jr. in?
No.
Yeah, I would disagree. I think Iron Eagle is such a powerful film. And you know what?
It's no Turbulence 3.
Well, what is?
Turbulence 3. Is that what the heavy metal guy was? He like, who was
Slade
he? Like,
Craven.
Slade
Craven,
Craven, yeah.
The most badass pilot in all the world.
Oh, didn't he have a wig and there was two of them? God damn that fucking movie.
A Double D says MZ is jonesing for some Jason Gedrick. Who isn't, right?
I am.
Jason Gedrick, Louis Gossett Jr., Tim Thomerson.
Oh, Oliver from
oh yeah,
Brady.
Is that Robbie Wrist? Is that who?
Robbie Wrist, Lamar, and Styles from fucking
shit. Larry B. Scott and Jerry Levine,
and the chick from the one of the hottest '80s hotness is the chick from
Laura Hardin.
Yeah. She had the pregnant girl from summer school.
Yeah, hell of a cast, huh?
You couldn't get that cast today because they're
older or dead.
They're probably dead. But goddamn.
Also, Bobby Jacoby.
Yeah.
And look at that. All right. So, wow. We need an Iron Eagle sequel now, like a big budget sequel, not like the other sequels they made.
Sure.
Come on, Ace's Iron Eagle 3 is awesome.
Oh, stop it. I just got pissed off. Spoiler alert, it's been like 30 years. I was so hyped for Iron Eagle 2. My parents took me to go see it in theaters, and they totally killed off Jason Gedrick in the first fucking 10 minutes. Like, really?
Probably couldn't afford him.
I couldn't afford Jason Gedrick.
Here's $12 and a hot dog.
Yeah. And it was fine, but it was like, there was no internet back then. I'm like, the fucking main guy died.
Oh,
and
man.
Sorry, the last thing I watched was Marion showed me the pilot episode of Yellow Jackets.
Oh,
The
okay.
show.
Yeah.
I think Coney's a big fan of that too. That's a fucking dark show. You might dig that, Coney. MZ.
I've been hearing a lot about it. Is Lara Prepon in that show?
It's a lot of badass girls. It's kind of like Alive meets like fucking Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdness.
Angry Townsman said Lost Boys all over again. MZ loves that movie.
The Last Boys.
The Last Boys. I was in the middle of looking something up about 20 minutes ago. I just want to follow up on it. I think this is the episode we discussed Cannibal Holocaust. Looks like it was episode 91, Raiders of the Serbian Holocaust.
Sounds about right.
So there you go. If you guys want to go back and listen, I think that was the one, episode 91. You know what? Actually, well, maybe it was. I don't know why I thought it was like a more of a milestone episode, but maybe not. And what else was I looking up? I don't know. I forget. I was looking something else up, but I forget what it was. We're all over the place talking about fucking Raven Shadow watching movies is like, it makes everything go fucking crazy.
Dude,
back to back, 2 in a row.
I've been logging my film fucking movie rating journal.
Film fucking? What?
Fucking film fucking. No, I have a movie rating journal that Marion got me. I mentioned before. So I'm logging all the stuff we did for the show.
You're still doing it, huh?
Yeah.
Impressed.
2 in a row. Good for you, man.
I got everything in here. I'm like show, not show. You know.
Show,
And I'm
you got show, don't tell?
yeah, I might show.
Or show and tell.
I might, yeah, just a little bit. Get behind that paywall.
Hey, Raven, you have your own version of Only Hams?
yeah. Only scams.
Only cigs.
Only cigs. What was it? What was the fucking Cruzy? What was his name? Cruzy McSnoozy? What was it?
No, it was Cruz Gooseman.
Oh, Cruz Gooseman.
Good old Cruz Gooseman.
Cruz Gooseman's
Cruz
coming.
Gooseman strikes again. Creepy Girl says Yellow Jackets is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let me check on YouTube. And Casual Noob Sabat says, gonna check out the Diodato films. Thanks for the recommendation, MZ.
There you go.
He says, what would surprise me more than Raven Shadow sat through 2 long movies is his journal is still around. Wow.
Who said that?
Casual Noob Sabat.
All right, fair.
So that's awesome. So he says, which was a better sequel, Iron Eagle 2 or Top Gun Maverick? Well, I don't think has anyone seen Maverick? Raven Shadow, you saw Iron Eagle 2 and Maverick, right? Maybe 30 years apart, but you saw him, right?
Oh, it's like it was fucking yesterday.
Which is the better sequel?
For real, no fucking front. Aside from killing off fucking Jason Gedrick, which is fucking whack. I think Iron Eagle 2. I do. I'm sorry. It was a very fine picture, the Maverick. Jennifer Connelly was in it. I love how she's still like 20 years younger than Tom Cruise in that movie. But Jason Gedrick aside, I think Iron Eagle 2. I do.
I think I've told this story before, but I'm just going to tell it real quick because we don't really talk about Iron Eagle all that often. But someone who you still hang out with fairly often, Raven Shadow.
A good brother of ours from over the years, right? I think it's fair to say.
Yeah. And so anyways, someone we know, his dad used to come into the video store that I worked at back in the day in the mid to late 90s. And he wanted to watch Ace's Iron Eagle 3. And it was rented out and somebody like never returned it. So it just was out. Like, and he would, every time he'd come in, he would ask, is Iron Eagle 3 in yet? I'm going to say, no, I'm sorry. It hasn't, it's been missing for months. Like, the person never brought it back. So anyways, this goes on for, I don't know, months, and he asks every single time he comes in, just to see. And so what we did was my manager was like, let's order it. This guy wants it so fucking bad. Let's just get it in here. We'll order it. We ordered a new copy. We got it in, and he was so happy. And then he rented it. And then when he came back, it was only halfway watched. It wasn't rewound. And he seemed pissed. He was like, we were like, how was he? He was like, it was all right. Dude waited for fucking months for this movie. And it wasn't even rewound. He probably stopped it halfway through. Imagine waiting for fucking 8 to 12 months or something for Iron Eagle 3 and then not even watching it all.
That wasn't the one with the biplanes, was it?
Well, I don't fucking know. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I saw it once, and I really don't remember too much about it after that.
This is the synopsis, though. Chappie discovers a drug smuggling scheme at his own airbase. It turns out that the lives of some village people in Peru are at stake, and he decides to fly there with ancient airplanes and friends to free them. There you go. Yeah. Ancient planes.
Yeah. Ancient planes, like from the fucking 1600s. Like, really? Like, I mean, ancient isn't the right word to use. And there was a very attractive Spanish woman that was like Salma Hayek before Salma Hayek was on the box art, if memory serves. But like, Lou Gossett Jr. is the shit. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he's the one to hang the franchise on.
Yeah, there was apparently a part. You know what? It could have been it could have been part 4 that he wanted.
I think that was part 4
because I didn't know there was a part 4. Okay, so Iron Eagle on the Attack is Iron Eagle 4. That's why I didn't recognize. So I think that was the one because that came out in 95, which would make sense because I worked at the video store around 96, 7. I think it was 97 actually. So yeah, and that stars Louis Gossett Jr. once again.
I was really happy to see him pop up in the Watchmen TV show.
I'm trying to remember. I mean, I love that show, but I don't remember who he played in it.
And I want to say he was. I think he was Court of Justice.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay, yep.
So yeah.
You know who directed Iron Eagle 4? Sidney J. Furie. Does that name ring a bell to anyone?
That's Nick Fury's younger cousin, isn't it?
No.
That's Kung. It's Kung Fury's younger brother.
Yes.
Well, he did. Actually, he did Iron Eagle 1 and 2. Okay, but he also directed Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
That's right.
Wait, his last name is really Fury. So what's his name again?
Let me scroll back up. Sidney J. Furie.
Sidney J. Furie.
Yes.
All right. MZ, I'm going to be... Who am I going to be, Wolfie?
Sidney
Cruz
J. Furie.
No, MZ's going to be Sidney J. Furie. Who am I going to be? Cruz Guzman?
Yes, Cruz Guzman, yes. Are you going to pitch your new movie to Cruz to Sidney J. Furie?
Yeah, here's what it is. Carando. Listen, no.
Come on, pitch it. MZ's going to be Sidney J. Furie, and you're going to pitch a movie. Do it.
I'm Cruz. I'm
Cruz Guzman.
Cruz Guzman, and I have to steal a biplane from what's his name? Fury, Sidney Poitier Fury. What's his name?
No, MZ's name is Sidney J. Furie. He's the director. You're pitching him this project.
Oh, he's the director. All right, so I'm Cruz Guzman, and I got to steal a biplane, and we have to fly and land on an aircraft carrier, and then capture Tim Thomerson and bring him back to the desert. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Whoa. Why wouldn't you bring Jason Gedrick back from the dead?
Because you can't bring someone back from the dead. I don't have that kind of power.
No, this is a supernatural movie now.
Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, it's the thing. Yeah, good. Thank you, Wolfie. I forgot about that part. So I'm gonna steal the magic crystals that can bring Jason Gedrick back to the dead. So we're gonna fly over
No. Hold on, Rich Adam. Sorry. I'm doing a rewrite. Okay, I hope you don't mind.
All right.
I'm doing a rewrite. What happens is you need to have these ancient biplanes that were made with a very rare material, and they have to fly over the ley lines of the earth at the same exact moment, like these certain ley lines, and that is going to go ahead and charge the center of the earth. A large crystal in the center of the earth will be charged, and at that point all dead people will become alive again. So not only we're saving Jason Gedrick, we're saving everyone, basically. They're all coming back to the dead. We don't know what's going to happen. They could be zombies.
But maybe and I think that's exactly what I was trying to say with the ley lines and time. Thank you for speaking, thank you for speaking, Cruz Guzman. I appreciate that. And so Jason Gedrick he's like the first one, but the side effect is everyone else is now zombie. So you have Abraham Lincoln, zombie. JFK, zombie. Freddie Mercury, zombie.
Yeah, and he can do the soundtrack. Zombie Freddie Mercury can do the soundtrack.
I mean, it might not sound good because I don't know how much what the vocal range for a zombie is, aside from brains. Aside from that, but
so Sidney J. Furie, are you going to fund this and direct it?
Yes.
Oh, look at that! All right,
$75 million budget.
$75 million. All right, Iron Eagle 5. It's greenlit.
I can't wait.
Actually, let's get Carando to direct it.
Evil Corny. Wow, Evil Corny.
Michael Mitsutaki directing Iron Eagle 5.
And Sidney J. Fury's just going to produce it. He wants Carando to direct it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? Corny, this is the worst pitch ever. Just remake Firefox. What the fuck, Corny? I thought that was a pretty good pitch.
Oh, fucking ley lines. Firefox, fucking Eastwood when he steals the Russian plane. He's going to learn Russian.
That's a good movie.
That's a fucking movie, I'll tell you that.
That was on HBO every fucking day back in the day.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie at least 30 times.
Which movie?
It's how I learned Russian.
Firefox. With
Firefox.
Eastwood,
Yep.
Literally on almost every fucking day.
Pretty much, yeah. I remember.
All right, we got to wrap this up. That picture, the whole fucking this fighter plane fucking shit went on way too long. Casual Noob Cybot says best Louis Gossett Jr. movie is Diggstown with James Caan, and best Samuel L. Jackson movie is The Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis.
Nice pull. Mary's a huge mark for A Long Kiss Goodnight.
That's a good movie. I saw it in the theater, I think.
Yeah. I would say the best Louis Gossett Jr. movie is a movie called Firewalker, where he teamed up with Chuck Norris to have adventures, and he fought the guy from 48 Hours, and he was also in Predator.
Oh shit!
No, I gotta agree. Diggstown is my favorite.
Diggstown,
yeah, Diggstown is really, really good.
I'm gonna pull an MZ here with Coffin Corner. I just saw Lisa Marie Presley passed away.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she suffered a
cardiac arrest earlier. Yeah. Fuck.
Damn.
So yeah, I just saw it come across.
Oh, my poor little Lisa Ballou.
She was incredible in fucking Naked
54.
Gun.
Wow.
Naked Gun. Yeah.
She's not 54 years old.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
She
definitely didn't have.
Years old?
Well, unfortunately, she was. Yes, she was 54 when she passed.
Yep.
What?
Wow, that sucks.
Apparently, she was at the Golden Globes the other night with can't remember the actor's name, but the dude who played Elvis in the Elvis biopic. I guess she was just at the Golden Globes a couple nights ago.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I-
Oh wait. Oh, Lisa Marie Presley.
yeah, not Priscilla.
Yeah.
Not Priscilla. Not yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
the
I'm
daughter.
sorry.
Daughter. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
I
one that
was
married Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And
okay.
Wasn't she
and-
with Nicolas Cage too? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking Priscilla. Presley.
oh, okay.
Blue.
And-
Yeah, that would be
I mean-
crazy because then
Yeah, I'm like, wait,
Elvis
she
would have
was-
been robbing the fucking.
Well, here, Karen.
Well, he already was. doing
Well,
that.
yeah, okay, that's fair.
You got a little bit of a pass on that one, but I'm like, wait a minute, 54. Okay. Oh, Lisa Marie Presley. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Her daughter Riley Keough, we've seen in a bunch of movies.
Yep.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, she was a pretty big musician in her own right back in the day too. But for for someone who's 54, I'm guessing she didn't have the heart of a 54-year-old after, what it went through over the years, with drugs and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's sad. I just saw it come across. Austin Butler is what Evil Corny said. Yeah, Austin Butler is the actor who played Elvis in that movie, and apparently he won a Golden Globe for his performance. I haven't seen it yet, but this will probably be the impetus to watch it because T-Dog is a huge Elvis fan, and I've wanted to see it anyways. So
Austin Butler, International Man of Mystery.
all right, well, I guess we're going to go to the break on a down note. Jeez, that's rough.
Hey, I said a joke.
Yeah, like I said, a down note.
We're uplifted by my humor. Now continue.
All right, well, let's wrap this up so we can start talking about a movie. That's what we need to bring things up, is to talk about a rest stop, like a sex rest stop, sex trafficking rest stop movie. Yeah. All right, so if you guys want to help support the show, there is a few ways you can do so. The best way is Patreon, patreon.trickortreatradio.com. And you can join for as little as $2 a month. And with that $2 or any of the other tiers you happen to get into, you get the Patreon exclusive episodes. We put one out every month, and they're exclusive to Patreon. They're a little bit more laid back, a little bit more conversational. We typically tackle a topic or a list. And try to give something a little bit different from what we normally do on the show. And we release audio of those directly to Patreon, and it's only for Patreon subscribers. So if you're not Patreon, you'll never hear the episodes because we only plan to release them on Patreon. And we also do video for one of the higher tiers, and Patreon Takeover is in the highest tier. And with that, if you guys want to get in on Patreon Takeover, you can choose 2 films or a film and a topic of discussion. And if you want to, you're welcome to come on and discuss them with us. And we'll be having a Patreon Takeover in just 2 weeks. Is that right? Let me see. Yeah, 2 weeks from now. And Raven Shadow, you're excited. You want to? So cat's out of the bag, I think we've already said, but we're going to be joined by EF Contentment. It is his Patreon Takeover. And Raven Shadow, do you want to talk about the movie, one of the movies he selected? Because he already announced it, because it's a long movie. It's longer than Avengers Endgame.
Wait. One of the movie he selected? I feel that should be that's the appearance, right?
Well, that's why he announced that one early, because to give people plenty of time to watch it.
Well, the other one should be Kung Fury, if that's the case, because that's a shorter picture. But no. EF is amazing. If you've hung out with him in real life in the Patreon chat, if you've even listened to his blog, heard him on the show, dude's legit. And something that we bonded over real quickly was our love of a little film called Blood In, Blood Out, which is kind of like the Spanish
Godfather, right? Or Scarface or something.
Scarface, Boys in the Hood. It is fucking magical.
So
And I saw, yeah.
apparently there is a decent copy, as of right now anyways, available on YouTube. So EF posted a link to it on our Discord. So if you guys aren't on the Discord, you can join discord.trickortreatradio.com. And so that's Patreon. If you guys want to help support the show, you can get in on that. And like EF, you can get your own Patreon takeover, all that stuff. So give it a look, patreon.trickortreatradio.com, and consider supporting. All right. And the other ways you can help support the show on trickortreatradio.com. If you scroll down, you see the Amazon logo. You click on that. It's going to bring you to Amazon. It's going to input our affiliate link. Everything that you purchase in that session, once you click on it, will get attributed to us. We get a tiny little cut, a small percentage between like 1 and 3%, depending on what it is. And but you know what? It adds up. So it doesn't cost you any extra. We just get a little credit for driving you to Amazon. And Raven Shadow.
It's another way to help keep the lights on.
That's right. I figured I'd throw you like a curveball there because I didn't give you the lead in, but
it wasn't the lead.
You picked it
up.
No, you picked it up.
Like you dropped it, I picked it up. It's kind of like we kind of get like a one soft cut. That.
A soft cut. Wait, a 6 soft cut?
No, it's more of like a one soft, maybe 2 soft. It's that much of a cut.
All right, and the final way that you can support is also on trickortreatradio.com. You can click on store, and in there you'll see some digital goods. We got the greatest hits of Trick or Treat Radio volumes 1 through 3, and we've over the course of the last year when MZ wasn't here, we were saying if you miss MZ and you haven't been listening all the time, you can go back and hear some of the greatest hits from the first 6-7 years of Trick or Treat Radio, and MZ is on a lot of those. So if you guys are new to the show and maybe you haven't heard all 10 plus years of episodes, you can check those out. And I think we list the episode numbers in the file. So if you're curious what episode it's from, you can always go back and listen to the original episodes to hear the full context. So, all right.
Such quotes as the Hong Kong invented snowboarding.
Yeah, you're going to continue with that crap, huh? I told you my reasons for thinking that. You're never going to listen.
We'll leave that for another time. Let me just catch up on the chat, and then we're going to head to break. Casual Noob Saibot says Cannibal Holocaust is available on Shudder right now. Cool. If you guys have never seen it, definitely worth a watch. Trigger warning, and real animal violence, like actual real animals getting hurt and killed. So just be aware. It's just the turtles, right, MZ? If I'm not mistaken, just the turtle.
Oh no,
there's more. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's been a few years, so I forget.
I mean, if you want a full list, I can rattle it off for you.
Jesus. Give us a few more.
Yeah, there's the turtle's the most famous one. But there's a pig, there's a spider, a snake, a muskrat, a monkey. It's pretty vile.
Yeah.
A gaffer.
The best boy.
A key grip.
A Kegel.
That's
all right. So there you go. Trigger warning for that. Evil Corny says Enemy of Mine is my favorite gossip film. I may agree.
Oh, I forgot about Enemy of Mine.
That's a great fucking movie, yeah.
Oh, Mickey Mouse.
Enemy of Mine is great. Yeah, Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, I forgot about Enemy of Mine. Enemy of Mine is fantastic.
It's fucking brilliant with the Quaid, but also too underrated. Dolph Lundgren's Punisher, Lou Gossett Jr. played his kind of partner, and that's not a. He was in that.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Officer the fucking Gentleman, right? Wasn't he in that? That was a fucking big picture. The dude's the shit.
That too.
Yeah.
That boy good.
That boy good. He good.
Evil Corny also says, I still prefer American Me.
Well, I don't feel it's like a like-to-like comparison, Corny, between... Coney's kind of naysaying tonight.
Maybe.
He's kind of spicy.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to rattle your cage there, Raven Shadow, or something. I don't know.
Well, he did.
All right, so I think we are all caught up on the chat. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back, and we're gonna talk about Candyland. But before we do that, Michael Raven Shadow, let folks know, what do you do to prepare to watch a sex trafficking rest stop movie? I guess I don't know what else to call it. It's, at its core, it's a slasher exploitation film. But what did you do to prepare, Raven Shadow? I mean, you had to get in the right mood for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I already watched a bunch of other fucking movies. Actually, I took Ollie for his annual physical, which was awesome. $500 later, $565 later for his physical, because we had to include that $300 senior screening for lab work, which was fun.
That lab work fucking gets you, man, all the time. Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Sucks, dude. Actually, Wolfie, I got to talk to you about something.
I'm gonna learn how to do my own lab work.
I really, seriously, like, if I would do it over again, I'd be a fucking phlebotomist, and I would
just be a vet.
Yeah, I'd be a vet, quite frankly.
Knowing Raven Shadow, he would go to a war just to become a vet and skip school.
Yeah,
it's not how that works, though.
I did quit school because of recess, man. Oh yeah, fuck. I wish yeah, it's fucking expensive. But then I strapped on.
That was a weird one. All right.
A little weird.
Yeah, that's fair. Paid advertisement for the Cult of Muscle podcast. The Cult of Muscle. You're either in it or you're dead.
It's the dawning of a new age. The halls of Valhalla have been shuttered. The heroes of yore have either retreated to the shadows or taken to capering for the amusement of the small folk, their past glories a distant memory. The barbells have been torn from their once puma-strong grips, the beards shorn from their square jaws, only to be transplanted onto flannel-clad, puny weaklings with fingers barely powerful enough to strum a ukulele. The time has come, my brothers, to restore order from the chaos. No longer will our heroes be forgotten. No longer will their great deeds be viewed through a foggy lens of irony. Hear now our rallying cry as we scream it from the mountaintops, as we bellow it from iTunes and Libsyn and Facebook. It's time to join the cult, my brothers. So don your cloaks and enter the Cult of Muscle.
This is Matt Kennedy of Astron 6. You might know me as Manborg. You might know me as Father John Sullivan in Father's Day. But what's important right now is that you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories.
With your hosts, John,
Josh,
and Luke.
We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
I can tell you I'm never coming back on this show. Especially now that I did that thing that you just made me do. Which I will be sending you an invoice for.
And we are back on Trick or Treat Radio. I think. Oh, we lost MZ. That's weird. Oh, there he is. We didn't lose MZ. We lost your video feed for a moment.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. So
Yep.
MZ's back. That's all that matters. All right. So we are going to talk about a movie, and that movie is Candyland. This movie just got a streaming release. Just get where's the poster? Okay. And it is streaming on VOD, and you can rent it. I know it's available on Prime. You can check it out there or wherever you rent your VOD flicks. It is a horror thriller written and directed by John Swab. It is 93 minutes, and the film stars Eden Brolin, Olivia Luccardi, William Baldwin, Owen Campbell, Guinevere Turner, Sam Quarton, Virginia Rand, Bruce Davis, and Billy Blair, and Brad Carter.
Fuck you, Blair.
It's a B. Brian Blair.
Oh.
Fuck the B. Brian Blair.
Fuck the B. Brian Blair.
That will never not be funny.
I know. All right, so the synopsis: a seemingly naive and devout young woman finds her way in the underground world of truck stop sex workers, a.k.a. lot lizards.
Yeah.
Do you know any lot lizards, Raven Shadow?
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see. The film directed by John Swab. I'm trying to see if I don't think I'm not familiar with any of his work. He did a film called Let Me Make You a Martyr, which I do recall that coming out. We actually almost did it on the show. Came out in 2016. Oh, I remember. That's the one
We did do it.
Yeah, we did. That's the one with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right. Okay, so the name actually the poster actually threw me off. This is a different poster than I remember. But yeah, okay, you're right. Good call, MZ. And it did have Sam Quarton in it as well. She's the one, I think, let's see, was she Sadie? Was that the character, I think? Sam. Yeah, Sadie. So she played Sadie in this. So she was also in that movie as well. And I don't think I recognize anything else that he's done. Or at least not that we've talked about. But he did a movie called Ida Red last year, or 2 years ago, rather. It had Josh Hartnett and Frank Grillo in it. And William Forsythe.
Really?
Yeah. Looks pretty good. I'm just checking out, see if I recognize anyone else. So, yeah. That was a drama thriller western, apparently. So, I did that one. Yeah, I mean, he's got a decent amount of flicks out there that he's done. And he has a few upcoming. Nothing I am aware of. But, yeah, so Candyland is his most recent flick. Let me talk a little bit about some of the people in this. So, Olivia Luccardi, who plays Remy, who I guess in a way is maybe like sort of our journey through this world of, rest stop sex workers. I knew I recognized her, and I was trying to pinpoint where I knew her from. And I couldn't figure it out, but then I looked it up, and she was in It Follows. If I'm not mistaken, she was the girl who had that like little clamshell, like electronic device. I don't know if you guys remember. There was like an e-reader or something like that. She was like one of the friends. So yeah, she was in that, and think that's the only thing that I recognize her from. But we also had, in addition, William Baldwin, Billy Baldwin, Raven Shadow.
Dude, like, my favorite Baldwin is Steven. All right, because
of Biodome, we all know.
That's my second reason. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, Bryan Singer and Spacey aside, I fucking adore The Usual Suspects, and he was killer in that.
Oh, true. Yeah.
McManus is fucking his best role for my money. And then followed by Biodome, which I think is it's a underrated classic.
Usual Suspects, Biodome, apples and oranges, really.
Yeah. I don't know why, but Billy,
Billy.
Oh, Billy, from Flatliners, Sliver fame, that movie with Cindy Crawford, and the firefighter picture with
Backdraft.
Thank you. He is looking like Alec.
He really is.
He
right?
is.
Like,
well, they all kind of do. Well, they all kind of do, don't they?
But he had his own distinct face, but he is totally looking like Alec Baldwin now. I think he's the younger brother, I would think, or one of the younger brothers.
Yeah, he was. I always thought he was one of the. I think he was the baby Baldwin.
Yeah. To be fair, Danny Baldwin was in fucking Vampires and Holly Davidson and the Marlboro Man, which I think is also underrated classic. Look at that cast too, by the way. Just saying. But he's looking just like fucking Alec Baldwin. It kind of took me out for a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't recognize him as Billy Baldwin. I was because he definitely. You're right. Like he looks like a lot of the other Baldwin brothers now, when he always had that really youthful face. And I think maybe getting a little older, putting a little bit of weight on, gave him that sort of like Baldwin face,
which happens. I mean, like if you have a lot of siblings,
I mean, he still looks good,
like my oldest uncle is definitely looking like my grandfather now, as he's in his own, 60. It's so funny how you age, but just I'm like,
yeah,
he looks like fucking Alec. Like, it's crazy. And this is a bold, let's just say it's a bold picture for all the actors. Let's just throw it out there. Maybe not bold, but a daring.
It's a bit daring. Yeah, it covers some ground for I could see, like, for instance, like, so we mentioned William Baldwin, but in addition, this film features Eden Brolin, and I don't know how old Eden is. I don't know if it says here, but I mean she's born in 93, so she is 30 years old. And she's been in a few things. Like, she was in that movie Arkansas that we did when Corny did his Patreon takeover. I guess she's in the Yellowstone TV series, and so she's been in some stuff. But this is Josh Brolin's daughter.
Was she the first person we see in the movie?
No. She is the dark hair, the dark
Yeah.
hair one.
The straight dark hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
But I mean, yeah, like, this is kind of like, if your dad's Josh Brolin, I mean, I imagine, you have to get jobs on your own merit, right? But you would think that the name alone maybe, could get her some really, kind of beefy roles, right? But this one definitely is a bit of a bold choice, because it does deal with sex work and, potentially some, I guess, racy topics, depending on who you are, maybe,
Maybe throw out there maybe some trigger warnings too. I mean, there's some stuff in this picture.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that.
No,
I don't think it's that necessary.
I think he's talking about I can't remember his name now. The dude.
There's a particular scene that.
Levi.
Levi. Yeah, he's talking about the scene with Levi. I would imagine, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Which was an interesting inversion, because typically it's the other way around, right? It's typically the woman who is, getting that in movies. So we haven't touched on the movie at all yet, so I don't want to start getting into that. But yeah, I mean, kind of a bold choice. And speaking of Levi, played by Owen Campbell, we've actually seen him in a few movies. He was most recently in X. He played one of the characters in X, and he was also in Super Dark Times, which we did a few years ago.
Yeah.
Which was a if I recall correctly, was a movie that we all kind of enjoyed. And he was also in Depraved, the Larry Fessenden Frankenstein movie that we did a few years ago as well. So yeah, we've seen him in a few things. Right away, I didn't recognize what movie I'd seen him in, but I recognized him. I was like, oh yeah, like we've definitely seen this dude. So, but yeah, he's been acting since I think 2006-ish. So he's been in a lot of stuff. And let's see. In addition, Guinevere Turner is an interesting person. She's acted a lot. She's also written. She's written a lot of things. Most notably, she wrote the script for American Psycho.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
The woman who played the den mother in this, she wrote the screenplay for American Psycho from 2000.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
And she also wrote several episodes of The L Word. I know you were a big fan of that.
No.
She wrote The Notorious Betty Page from 2005. She wrote that picture.
Oh, yeah.
Seen that.
And also Blood Rain, based on the video game, but she wrote the script for the movie Blood Rain.
Is that with Yuli Bowl or somebody?
Yeah.
Who did?
Yeah. Uwe Boll. Uwe Boll.
Yeah, it was Uwe Boll, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to pay the mortgage, you know what I mean?
So just a really interesting cast, just the sort of difference in sort of like some some up and comers, some established actors like William Baldwin and Guinevere Turner, and then we have sort of like some character actors like Billy Blair. He played one of the Johns in this. But he was in Three from Hell. He was also in Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Kind of a character actor kind of guy. Like usually plays some bit parts, but we've seen him in some stuff. And I think that's it. But interesting cast. When I started this movie, as soon as the movie starts, there's fucking right away. The movie opens up, and
yep.
I think it was Sadie, the character Sadie, who is with a customer, and yeah, that's literally how the movie opens, is her riding some dude in a truck. Yeah, I knew. I was like, all right, I'm waiting. I'm surprised I didn't get any text from these guys.
Well,
way to pick the movie this week, Wolfie.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I love sleaze. I love
Nudity.
Sex and nudity. But I don't like it. I like it not for pay. not the sad version of it. I like it being, you know, completely consensual and hey, we're having fun. Not in the sad way. And this movie from the jump opens up, yeah, there's some nudity, which is, you know, congrats. But you're brought into this world of sadness, you know, a world that does exist. And I believe I almost, was there a sign that said this took place in 1997? I thought there was a
1996.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason why it was set at that time, I think it had something to do with, you know, I thought about it and I'm like, what's the purpose of it having being set at that point? And the only thing that came to my mind is that it has to do with something personal with the director. That's the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, I really can't see any reason why this would be set at that time.
I think because you want to have the anonymity of having this Mos Eisley like brothel set.
It's actually not a bad, it's not a bad way of putting it.
You know what I mean? Where they part of the gimmick was they would this was like the last stop. I think they mentioned there was like a dry town near them. They're kind of like out in the desert. Or maybe this is the last stop before the dry town. They would use the CB radio for codes to get the truckers. You know, there'd be different times. I mean, if you had cell phones, it still was on that year of this world could kind of exist on the like outlaw trail, so to speak, without a lot of eyes and stuff like that. And you could have that anonymous, you know, world or lifestyle, or it is what it is. It was half truck stop, half, you know, Motel 6.
Yeah, but it's not that anonymous because, I mean, you got William Baldwin, who plays is he a sheriff or a cop? He's someone with law enforcement.
I think he's a sheriff.
He's very well aware of what's going on.
He is, but friends aren't. Like, I think he keeps it like kind of sequestered a little bit. Like, I don't think I'm sure folks know, everyone we know, you know, in our area, we know what happens on Piedmont Street, right? Or did back in the day. You know what I mean? But I think it's still on that realm of you could still either plausible deniability or look the other way. You know what I mean? And I think the music having the opening song by Wonderful Pyros was really interesting because I'm trying to think of the video. I don't think it was for Make Great Pets, but I think they did have a video that kind of dealt with some like underbelly of youth culture. Not quite like runaway train video, but I thought there was a very weird Wonderful Pyros video that may have had some nods to that kind of lifestyle.
If they really wanted to get a song to go along with that, as far as the video for that song is concerned, I would have gone with Metallica's version of "Turn the Page." That right there pretty much says it all right there. Their cover of "Turn the Page."
Right.
If you ever saw the video for that, it's depressing, and it deals with sex workers in hotel rooms and.
Yeah, I would put the Runaway Train video over that.
No, see, I wouldn't.
They had the thing
because really nobody's really missing. You know, nobody's really missing. You know,
but we don't know.
Huh?
But we don't know. I mean, there's this sad kid. There's a collective of kids who are all sex workers who banded together. They're like the sex worker X-Men.
The sex men.
The sex men.
I wouldn't want the one in the wheelchair.
The wheels. Yeah.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I'm sure a lot of people would.
Yeah. I think you wouldn't want that MZ, you fucking psycho. No. I'm kidding.
They wouldn't be able to run away from you, MZ.
Yeah.
Nope,
was it
just roll.
What's that Nubbin movie you like so much?
Nubbin movie? What the fuck?
He's talking about shit.
With the
porn with the
stump porn.
yeah, not I can't remember her fucking name. What's you have the there's the actress who does the stump porn.
I have no idea what
Oh
you're
my
talking
god, I
about.
can't believe.
No! I know what you're talking about. Gene Silver.
Oh, that's
Gene
stump
Silver.
porn.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, with the movie Long Gene Silver. Yeah.
You're like friends with her, right?
Facebook friends, sure.
Well, hey, that's real friends, right?
Well, of course.
But we're brought into opening scene, you know. Hey, that's pretty cool. And then you see other characters all doing their line of business, so to speak.
Yeah. So,
And
we'll dive into this flick, and yeah, like I think the great thing that it does is it right away it brings you right into this world immediately, and then you're in it. Like there's no getting out of this world. I feel like they really brought you in, and it's almost like a shock to the system of like, okay, well this is how it's going to be. Get used to this, and it's not really about titillation. This movie isn't done for that purpose. It's done to show a side of this world, of like what happens to these people and what they deal with. And, I think that, it's interesting. We've talked about a lot of issues on this show, as it relates to gender and toxic masculinity and things like that. One thing I don't think we've really discussed much is like sex work, I guess as long as I haven't really thought much about it either personally, but I guess if people are being safe and doing something that they, enjoy or can make money at, I don't see anything wrong with it, but it's that whole thing. Like, it's interesting. They talk about it in this and say, I could be making $6 an hour waiting tables, or I can do this, And when you kind of put it like that, it's like, yeah, well, I see where you're coming from, right? Like, I see when you see what the flip side of things are, maybe this choice isn't so bad for certain people,
Well, I think it's hard. I mean, one thing, obviously there's a taboo, right? But
sure.
If it's again consensual, safe,
right,
appropriate, fee for service, whatever you want to call it. But this is the opposite of that. This is the Wild West. This is you're by yourself out there, and you're putting your life in every time you go into a car. And then even the way they broke down the various locations of the truck stop. There's the big rig area. There's there's the bathroom gimmick. There's the car gimmick where, okay, you pull in backwards, or you go into the restroom and tap your foot. You figure you're dealing with people who are all on that trail. They're not.
Right.
I'm saying not normal, but they're not. Maybe their job is they drive for 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
How different is that? You're not normal 9 to 5 people. And I think it takes a certain kind of person to have that mentality, the same way we have a certain mentality to be, a cop or a firefighter. There's a certain mindset to run into the burning building when everyone's running out, right? It takes a certain mindset to whatever the fuck. But when you're on the road, it's very sleazy and very dirty. And
right. And this is sort of like, this takes place in 96, I think we said. And like, it's almost like the equivalent now of like being online and having anonymity. Like, in a way, they all sort of had anonymity in this. It's, like, you kind of do your thing and then that's it. And, and then they may never see you again or something like that. So there's an element of anonymity with this. I mean, obviously they see your face and potentially much more. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like they don't have to know you. You don't have to know them. You just kind of do your thing, and then you're on your way, you know?
But again, you're
Yeah,
safe.
it's just a simple business transaction, and I mean,
But also,
there are the inherent. I mean, outside of just simple STDs,
Sure.
that go along with this. I mean, I'm in the warehousing industry. Okay, I've been working in the warehousing industry for 22 years. So
It's very similar.
met my fair, I've met my fair share of truckers, and some of the stuff that they tell me. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I could still remember this one came up to me and he told me, "Hey, she showed me pictures of women on his phone. Hey, I'm fucking this one. See, look at her. Yeah, look at her. Yeah, ain't she hot? Yeah, I'm fucking her too. And see, look at her. I'm fucking her. And meanwhile, it's some like 60-year-old schlub with a pot belly that, yeah, it just like, really,
Don't
dude.
schlub shame.
I'll schlub him if I wanna. And it's like I have no
Schlub him
interest
if you got him.
and I'm like, I have no interest in this dude. Okay, I mean, yeah, I got a couple minutes to kill, but I have better things to do with my time than to see you rattle off the girls you're supposedly nailing. But
you're like, no, you're not. Well, you could if I did.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also the physical abuse and stuff like that could possibly happen, and that does play a part in this film. But I think they portrayed the way this whole operation works with the girls to be pretty good. I mean, it's like you said, Wolfie, the first time you see them, there's a couple banging away, and it's inside the cab, so there's like a certain claustrophobia that's going on. That's kind of strangulating, really. You're in an enclosed area with two other people that are just getting their rocks off, and it just has a very confining feel to it, and that's almost like how it feels with the girls. I mean, yeah, they feel free and clear about doing what they do, but they know in the back of their mind that what they're doing is rather dangerous, and that there's a claustrophobic feel about that. And even though there is a cop there that knows what they're doing, he's not always there to help them. So there is an inherent danger involved with what they do.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things about this is, it sets it up perfectly. Like if someone goes missing or ends up dead, like, is anyone really gonna care outside of this place? Like, it's one of those sort of interesting places, and you're right. It is kind of like, Mos Eisley Hostel is like, it is kind of like the Wild West there. If someone ends up dying or going missing, you almost get the feeling that no one's really gonna, like, not necessarily care, because obviously people cared, but it's like, okay, well, it's almost like a lost cause. Like, yeah, all right, well, that sucks, but what are we gonna do? I feel like William Baldwin's character in this, definitely plays, I don't know if I'd say a corrupt cop necessarily, but someone who, because we don't know enough to say he's corrupt, but he's someone that definitely turns a blind eye, because in a way he is using this to his benefit as well. So he gets like benefit, and he turns a blind eye, right? And he helps them if they need it, So it's almost like they have this little system in place. And actually, one of the things I really loved about this is like the family feel. Everyone just was like there for each other. Like, and I'm talking about the workers, like, you had Guinevere Turner, who played Nora, who was like the den mother, like she kind of like cracked the whip here and there, but she deeply cared about these people and wanted to make sure that they were okay, and was checking on them, and and everything. And I thought that was really, just the relationship between these characters was really well portrayed and really sweet. And even to the point where they took someone in who was left there. Like Remy ran away from a fucking religious cult, and no questions asked. Like, she's the complete opposite, like, to them. And they just took her in, no questions asked,
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of ground to cover. And one thing I just want to throw in there again, there are no shame in the game. Earn your paper. There's a lot of us who go to our 9-to-5 job, but we're getting fucked metaphorically.
Right. Either way. Yeah. Either way, we're all getting fucked one way or another.
But something brought these characters here that was more traumatic than what they're encountering on a daily level. This isn't the chick from WWE who makes more money on OnlyFans that can give up her deal. You know what I mean? Like, this is something brought all these characters to this, terrible location and this ecosystem. And let's not misconstrued, a pimp or a madam, as nice as they are, they still want to turn you out. There's even still that line about you can stay, but if you stay, you got to work. And yes, there was a Guardians of the Galaxy type with the clique. They looking out for each other.
Wait, where was Ego?
I'm Groot. They banded together, but you still had to earn your spot if you were going to stay, and you get turned out. Yes, that was the best family they could have, because whatever the fucking family they came from had to have been so much worse.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's an important factor, is like wherever they came from, like it was worse than this was almost like a sanctuary to them in a way, So I feel like they did a good job of portraying that, and it seemed like they genuinely all liked each other, to some degree. And they all almost like a, kind of a sibling relationship where they'd look out for each other. Well, aside from Sadie and Liv, who were a couple, they were involved.
But even with like, oh, it's your turn, and they would watch, like at least they were eyes on each other,
right?
Trying to get ho-ho. Imagine that's the
snowballs.
Snowballs. Like, you just had to have some whatever the fuck, and all you wanted was a snowball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's your day, and everyone. It sucks, but you felt that you're in there. Like, this ain't a fun picture, gang. Just saying.
I'm not going to say that. I mean, it has its moments where the danger seems to be heightening. But I don't think it ever reached a point where it's become dangerous. I mean, as far as the viewer goes, I mean, I think it tried to work in with some titillation, despite what's going on. I think there was some titillation going on because of like the first opening, like maybe 10 or 12 minutes, the nudity was nonstop. I mean, it was it was going crazy with the nudity. I mean, it was just. I thought it was going to be like the whole film.
I think that was on purpose, just to set the scene, so almost to desensitize you, so that when you see it later, it's not like you're not like gawking at it. It's just like, here, this is what we're doing. Here it is. We're just going to lay it out there, and then now let's get into the movie. Like I feel like that was actually like a concerted effort.
Yeah,
but it wasn't titillating. It wasn't like an Andy Sedaris picture.
Right. It wasn't to, this isn't going to be something that's going to be on like, like that someone would watch in place of Skinamax on, like it's not that kind of movie. You don't watch it to like, get excited or whatever.
Yeah.
But they bring this girl in, and what was her name?
Nora.
Remy.
Nora.
Oh no,
Nora.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Oh.
Remy. Nora was the Denver.
Remy. That's it. Remy.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, they see her as a vulnerable girl. She's a runaway from the cult that she was once a part of. I can understand them taking her in so easily, but I can also understand. But what I had a hard time dealing with was her wanting to be in just as easily. I mean, there's no telling. I don't remember if I know she didn't offer or she didn't ask to be part of them, but at the same time, I can't remember if they offered her to be one of them. I don't know, but
That's the dead mother thing. She's like, if you're gonna be here, you have to work.
Right.
yeah, but she had to. Yeah, but the thing is that she had to show up there for something. I mean, considering that this was a deeply religious cult that this girl was a part of, how would she know that this group of girls not only are who they are, but know that they stay in this area?
Oh, you mean for the
So
job?
she could go back.
she was.
So she could go back to them when she ran away.
She was in the van when at the
No,
beginning.
I know that.
Oh, okay.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is, how does she know that they were going to be there?
Oh well, she probably just. I mean, it's probably the only place around that like has people. You know, I mean, obviously, as the movie progresses, I think we find out why she was there. You know.
Yeah. Oh no, that's true. I mean, there's some suspension of disbelief here that needs to be.
I don't think so. I
addressed.
I don't think so. I think it made complete sense. Like her story was she was running away from the religious cult. So she didn't know where to go. She came here. They're the complete opposite of a religious cult. And if you wanted to run away from a cult, you know, you would probably go away.
A bunch of sex workers.
Well, you'd probably go away from like what you're running from and go to the opposite maybe.
And I think because I mean the dude had the interaction with the girls, they obviously stepped to him. So I think it was more like, okay, well, here's some kids my age. Because really, I can't picture him being more than 21. At least the characters in the film, maybe early 20s, if not late teens.
I felt they were older than that.
Maybe
they
did
the late 20s. Maybe with the exception of Remy, who looks young. I mean, but I don't know if that's because of the way she dressed or, you know, because she was dressed up in that long dress that.
Yeah,
that,
church. Yeah, like a
dress. You know. But everyone else looked like they kind of looked like they were in their mid to late 20s. Maybe mid 20s. I won't go late 20s, but mid 20s.
It's hard to say. I mean, I thought that some of them were maybe like Riley, who was played by Eden Brolin. I just kind of assumed she was maybe a little bit younger than like Liv and Sadie. And then Levi maybe was like in between them in age or something like that. That's just the impression I got. I don't think it really necessarily matters. It's just that, you know, they were young enough to probably get there. Like they probably ended up there when they were young enough to just barely be doing it, you know, legally, I guess. And then depends on how long they stuck around, I guess, you know.
But going back to the suspension of disbelief, there was a couple of scenes, both really being kind of the same thing, of a murder, where I'm watching this and I'm saying to myself, well, how could nobody have seen that? You know, and you know, because a lot of this stuff takes place during the daytime, and I'm saying to myself, the killer has blood all over themselves. There's blood all over the inside of truckers' cabs, and it's like, how can nobody see this is happening? You know, it's the suspension of disbelief that I have kind of a hard time with. You know, I mean, otherwise, I mean, this is a well acted film. I think at some point, as the film progressed, I think it kind of forgets that it was supposed to be this kind of a movie, because it's a long time between deaths, from like the first death to the second or third death. I mean, there's a lot of time that takes place in between there. It's not for any kind of character development or story development. We already know what the girls are about.
It kind of is, I think.
I don't know. We already know what the girls are about. I mean, as far as the cop goes, I think the subplot on William Baldwin's character is completely unnecessary. I don't think that had any point at all in the film. Really.
What are you talking about with Levi?
Yeah.
No, it totally was necessary.
I don't think so.
Why do you think he's turning a blind eye? Because he's getting something out of it.
Yeah.
You talk about the cop, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, it seemed obvious to me, like he's helping them and turning a blind eye, and in turn, Levi has to be his little boy, like
his Kalp Gunga Din,
Yeah. Yeah. So it absolutely is necessary, and you can even see, I don't want to say too much about it, but as as some of the things that the cop says to Levi as the movie progresses, like we find out just how he feels,
How about Levi, get in the truck. No, I'm not going to do it. Levi, get in the fucking truck.
Yeah.
Just taking it back, MZ, like the whole blind eye. I think that's part of the gimmick of this location where no one's looking at anybody. That's the thing. Everyone gives a blind eye. Nobody cares. They maybe care. People come, they go.
They care about that.
Metaphorically and literally, but no one looks at anybody because that's the gimmick. And it would be okay if maybe a truck was left there for a couple of days because nobody cares. And that's why.
Well, it just seems like all right, I guess I could see where you guys are coming from, but it seems like an awful, I don't know how the best way to word this, but considering what the cop is doing for these girls and in making sure that they're okay and covering up for them, it seems like, I don't know, it just comes across as rather like a small price to pay for the huge for what the girls are trying to get, the trouble that the girls are trying to get themselves out of.
Well, I mean, prior to this, they probably didn't have a lot of trouble, right? Like prior to the events of this film, there probably wasn't as much trouble as what happened in the film. But I mean, we also don't know much about the cop situation. Like, I don't know if this was mentioned, but like, I mean, I assume he's married.
He had a wedding ring.
Okay.
He mentioned that. He mentioned
Okay.
He mentioned his wife. She cooks. She cleans.
That's right.
She doesn't excite me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think about it that way, like this is his, like he is lacking something, and he is able to fill that hole, literally, from what happens here. And in turn, all he has to do is turn a blind eye as a cop and just kind of look out for everybody, so he literally is getting something that he wants and something he is lacking. And in his eyes, I'm guessing it's to kind of keep the status quo, otherwise he'd probably have to, rock the boat and make some changes. And maybe he doesn't want that. Maybe just,
I suppose the ball is in his court, because if these girls get themselves in any kind of a trouble in which he is unable to get to them to help them out, then I guess he still gets what he wants, but the girls are screwed.
Yeah, it's very much an equally beneficial relationship. Like he's getting something he wants, and he's providing them something that they need. That's kind of the deal, I think.
It's such a sadomasochistic, what do you call it? Ecosystem. This weird fucking thing. And almost maybe they've been there for years. Maybe they've all been there for 6 months. There's a lot of hours in the day when you're just at a fucking rest stop and you're fucking to try to get some money to eat and to sleep. Like, I'm not sure what the turnover is, but I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of, hey, it's your 10th year here at the office. You know what I mean? Like,
we got you a crystal statue.
yeah, is it still though? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, speaking of that, there's still hair on it.
Oh God. Yeah.
Uh,
Was that because you had when I commented, I was like, I can't believe you guys haven't said anything about this movie yet in our chat, and then you're like, yeah, the beginning was like, yo, and then something else, like then quickly you felt like something different. Was that it?
that was the starter.
Yeah, it's so I think I think it just shows you, like, if you don't have a family or a family that you want to be with, like, you make your own family or you find your people, and there's always that weird dynamic, like not everyone's going to get along, and in this case, like, he the cop, he plays his role, and sure, he cares, like, especially about Levi, but I just feel like it's a dysfunctional family just like any other, but in a way it's the one that they want and not the one that they are, like, they left the ones that they didn't want to be with, and this is the family they choose to be with,
Or this is the safest outcome,
right,
that which you could have for your job too. I mean, you have certain roles and maybe there's various ages, and I've had jobs where, like, there's various ages, so there's, okay, these are the grandparents of the role, and this is the younger brother, there's that kind of archetype, but
yeah,
and they did that, and that's the best they could. This is the best family dynamic they could have, which is pretty shitty.
Yeah, probably so.
I think the pacing of this film is a little weird for me. Like I said, you got a couple of kills at the beginning, or near the beginning anyway, and then a long time passes, and then the kills, and the kills are good. Some of them are very realistic.
Yeah.
Very well done, very well executed. The scene with Levi in the back of the building, or the back of the
when he was
like the trucking station, yeah, that scene was really, really good. I just want to make a note of the score for this scene. I thought the score for this whole movie was just fantastic. I think it was the best thing in the movie. The score was really good, and it reminded me so much of well, ironically, another sex film, Boogie Nights. The scene where things are starting to get really hot and heavy near the end of the film, where Dirk Diggler, he's down on his luck, and he's like getting in some guy's truck and asking him for $10 so he can jerk off for him, or when Roller Girl and Burt Reynolds' character are inside the limousine. They pick up some stranger, asking if they want to have sex with Roller Girl. And next thing you know, she starts beating the shit out of that guy. The score for that felt so much like this, and it was under the same circumstances. It had to do with sex that just ended up turning ugly, or sexual activity or sexual actions that just started turning ugly and violent. And the score for both of those scenes, the one in Boogie Nights and the one that I'm talking about here in this film, are nearly identical in terms of tone, in terms of ambiance, in terms of threat. It's overwhelming, and it's such a good scene. It's such a great scene, and that score really sets it off. I just wanted to make note of that.
Yeah, you had mentioned Boogie Nights. One, I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so I don't know how accurate this is. But this to me felt a little bit like the film Kids. Like I got a little bit of a Kids vibe.
100%. I said that to Marion early on, where I'm like, I feel like kind of like fucking Kids.
Whoa, please
Whoa,
revise. Please
hey,
revise.
Whoa.
Reword that?
Yeah,
I
please.
kind of feel like this movie reminds me of that fucking movie called Kids that came out in 1994.
Thank you. 95.
Okay.
But
90,
much.
Which I thought, like, oh, that will be an impish and whimsical tale about, oh, fuck it, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because Kids, I hate that movie. I know it's just me personally. I fucking hate Casper. And I'm supposed to, right? Like, you're supposed to not like these characters.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen Kids in so long. I don't remember the characters, but yeah, it's it was one of those movies that you watch and it almost feels like dirty, like almost like you're not supposed to be watching this, because it's such sort of like an intimate look into this world. And I feel like that's similar to this movie, is we're getting this really intimate look into this world that we wouldn't normally get insight into, you know? And I don't know how accurately it's portrayed. I can't speak to that. It seemed in the flow of the movie like it was believable, and it all fit with the world they created. So I think that...
Too good.
Oh, go ahead.
The only thing that I thought was unbelievable was that they made a point to say, okay, always wear one of these. Which, okay, I just don't, in terms of the condom, I just don't know how realistic that would be in the real life scenario.
To wear one?
I would think it would be very realistic.
Yeah, I would hope so.
But in terms of the clientele, which we saw, I would hope so. But we already saw some pushback with some of the clientele. You know.
Sure. But, I guess the thing is, you either, in this case, they would not use one, take the risk and make more money. Like, that's kind of like, that's kind of the... Right. The pay, the other side of it is, if they decide to do that, they're putting themselves at risk, but hey, you can make a little bit more money. But I think that it seemed like they were very gung-ho about it, and I feel like if something happened, they would be ready to back each other up if needed, Yeah.
And it seems like that they would. It seems like, yeah, they have that choice, and that choice has been made prior to that whole situation going down, because earlier in the movie, there's the girl that's sitting on the toilet, and she realizes she's got blood on her fingers, and she's like, oh, thank God. So she's had sex with guys without wearing a condom.
But once again, that's not 100% guarantee either. You could.
Oh, sure. It's, I mean, I guess that's one of the inherent risks in doing this, right? Like, so, but if you can set yourself up for success as much as you can, then I think that's a good thing, because then you can keep working, right? Like, if something happens, then maybe you aren't able to work for a little while, or for 9 months, like whatever, like. So I think that's in their best interest to keep doing that, or it puts their jobs at risk, so to speak,
But then there's also the girls that give the blowjobs, and the blowjobs, it's wham bam, thank you, Pam. It's all said and done, and it's funny, I mean, you get the blowjobs, and this movie's called Candyland, and I'm thinking, well, it's Willy Wonka, and she's the everlasting knob gobbler.
Oh God. Oh, God, is that a movie you've seen before?
I wish.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. He's had that one fucking loaded into his fucking chamber for the last hour.
Is that why you came back?
To make that joke.
Yep.
He's been sitting on it for a year.
I'm done.
He's like, I'm so glad Wolfie picked this movie so I could use it.
He's like, listen, s'mores, this is gonna kill him. Watch this.
So,
It's a joke. Yeah.
we've talked a lot about the, the kind of the world that they create and all that. And as far as I thought it was interesting. So we get this on one hand, we get like sex workers, and on the other hand, there is a religious cult nearby, and we get to see them handing out, like pamphlets, and like there's that scene where they talk to the girls, you should repent, like, and I love that where the one just like, she's wearing a skirt and nothing else, and just opens her legs, is like, and the guy's like like aghast.
He's like,
yeah.
The
So
Beatles vampire hunters.
so I feel like that was, like a logical sort of like way to pit it against, like two very disparate things getting pit against each other. And then we have the character of Remy, and let me just see. Casual Noob Saibot, he says, I think Remy was thrown out of the cult by the cult members for being too fanatical. So, if you're thrown out of a religious cult for being too fucking, fanatical, like there's probably some kind of issue going on there.
Well, it's almost like it's like Dave Mustaine being tossed out of Metallica for drinking too much.
Right, drinking too much, yeah.
It's called Alcoholica. Okay.
And let's see. Casual Noob Saibot also says, I think having this movie set before smartphone cameras added to the believability of the story they were trying to tell. Also, it was filmed at the height of sex trafficking, cults, and runaways. Yeah. I think that's probably a good point. I assume it's probably close to the height, because once the internet hit, it's kind of hard to do things without being caught, or like,
or it would change the game, right? It would change the game. You can be more discreet.
Well, but yeah, I guess it just depends on what. Yeah, I guess it depends. But yeah, you're right.
I don't know, but
so and then all of a sudden we see these murders. Like, people are getting murdered. Some of the main characters are are caught up in the web, and and it's just sort of, they're on their own, so to speak. It's this family and the cop, and like that's kind of it. Like, they're on their own to fend, for themselves. They can't, because you can't call the fucking police because you're doing something illegal, and that's why they can only work with this one cop who's turning a blind eye, because he gets some benefit out of it. So it's one of those interesting situations where, yeah, like, you're in a bad situation, bad shit's going on, but there's really nothing you can do about it, And I think it in a way, it's almost like a metaphor, right? Like, for people being trapped in a situation they just can't get out of, really, I don't know if that's the intent of this, but I mean, it does create this, this system of, you're in this situation and you're kind of fucked. You just have to go with it. There's really no escape. Maybe you can escape, but then you're going to be leaving your family behind, so to speak, So,
well, it's kind of weird how they're both on. It's the same problem for both, for Remy and for the girls. Both have the same problem, but they're both on the end, they're both on the opposite ends, I'm trying to say, of the spectrum. You got the God-fearing cultist who felt the need to run away from her family, as well as the girls who use sex to stay alive, and they ran away from their family. So really, you got these two polar opposites meeting, and it's interesting how it turns out, because it turned out the way I guess in a way that you kind of expected. With these two realizing that they have so much in common, even though they're so much different in as far as I guess a morality is concerned, but their problems are the same, and so they kind of gel together pretty well.
Yeah, and I think one of the other main sort of points of this is that you never truly know someone. Like, you think you know someone, and then like they turn out to be someone who you didn't really expect. So I think that, you know, these girls, well, girls and guys are so accepting. You know, I feel like that is also kind of their downfall in a way, even though they have this very insular sort of system in place. I feel also that's their downfall in a way. So, you know, because, you know, they let someone into their inner circle and they don't really know the person, right? So it's just kind of interesting how that all plays out and how no one suspects anything, right?
It's a lot going on, but even within that family structure, there's still a hierarchy. Like, even they were like, I'm tired, I want to eat. No, you go. So there's still a predatory dynamic amongst this put together family unit. I still think, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's still, and it just perpetuates that fucking world. But once again, they got there because wherever they came from is worse.
Yeah.
And then she has to adapt, and then we see her take on the axe.
Yeah. Let's pivot a little bit and talk about. So we did talk a little bit about the gore. I think MZ might have brought it up, but what did you guys think of the gore and the kills and the effects in this?
I think that they were good. I thought they were really good.
In particular, there's a certain blood dripping scene in the bathroom that was downright cringeworthy.
Oh yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. It looked like the blood was kind of coagulated, and it's like so it's like thicker, and yeah. It was pretty sick. I dug the violence in this. I thought it was really well done. I think the weapon that's used is also interesting. Although
that was cool.
It's interesting, although I'm gonna have to say that's made out of plastic, because with all the blood that gets all over it, if it was wood, it would be stained like a motherfucker.
This old murder weapon.
This old murder weapon.
I thought the effects were really good. There was even some kills that you don't see on screen that the camera visits to later, and there's a certain realism to that. Almost like
you're specifically referring to the Levi.
No.
Okay, because that was one too. That like
that was one too. Sure, but I was more referring to the guy in the car who was second guessing himself.
Oh yeah. Okay, yep.
And so I mean you don't see it happening, but we end up visiting it later on, and it almost has like a Henry Portrait of a serial killer quality to it. Yep. And because when I saw that, my mind went right to that, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good because it's real. It looks real. The person who's doing the killing is unrelenting and unforgiving, so to speak. And the weapon that's being used is also, in spite of what I said just a couple minutes ago, is also quite real. So I think the murders in this movie were done really well. Like I said, I think it also lends some disbelief where some of these things are happening in broad daylight and nobody sees it happening. not one person. There's truckers everywhere. Not one of them sees anything. So, I mean, if you got your should have disbelief hat on, then you can enjoy this movie just a little bit more.
I think that's also just part of the thing. Yeah, there's a lot of cars and trucks around, but in those trucks, a lot of times the drivers are sleeping, like, so we don't necessarily know who's awake and what's going on, but a lot of times they stop at rest stops to sleep, so.
And we know what they're doing, what their kink is. Maybe they have their own truckload of gimmicks, to do. Do the various things.
Yeah, and also, like, we don't know, like, how interested in other people they are. They could just be keeping to themselves and not even notice, I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, there was a pretty big rest stop, and there is definitely a lot of traffic going in and out of there, but I think that also just sort of speaks to the, as Raven Shadow said, the Mos Eisley sort of feel to it, like, it's none of your business, so why are you going to get involved if you see something, And even if they did call the cops, the cop is there. Like, he might just be like, oh, yeah, we're on it,
One scene that made me cringe. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, like, you could be like, figure rest stops are the same all over the fucking road. You know what I mean? Like, what's this rest stop different from another one? All the, so it's, nobody cares.
Yeah. Corny says, I was glad that Store Santa didn't get got.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
But Remy's first client.
Oh yeah, the priest.
The priest. You know what? At first, I thought, because he looked kind of similar to the guy that she just ran away from, so I thought it was him. But it wasn't him. It was a priest. But the part that skeeved me out the most about him was the way he took his teeth out.
Oh yeah, exactly. He was like that noise he made.
He just like grabbed it like this out of his mouth and just yanked his teeth out. It was kind of, god damn, that's fucking nasty.
It was chills. It was fucking. He was like a shitty priest, Matt Frewer motherfucker. Like Matt Frewer,
he wasn't even nearly as handsome as Matt Frewer.
Yeah, he wasn't nearly as handsome as Matt Frewer, but like Matt Frewer meets Skeletor. It was fucking with his hair. Fuck you.
That was a good death though.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was going to happen, and it did.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, dude.
And what happened to that character?
Oh, I know, right?
The whole time, he's just like, nobody knew.
Yep.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Prisco, I don't know.
So yeah, I do agree. I think that the kills I thought were good. There was something sort of different about some of them too. Like I feel like we almost saw something like we hadn't seen before in some cases. Not all of them, but in some. And there's the one I'm not gonna give spoilers, but where two characters are going at it, and then it's is in the hotel room, and one of the characters ends up. Yeah.
Can I say one thing about that scene?
Sure.
Without giving it away. It seemed like there was a moment of real human connection.
There was, yeah.
But then there was a moment where I think the lifestyle got in the way.
Yeah, definitely.
Where there was that human connection, and then instantly, britches off, we're fucking now. And it was almost like I'm feeling this human connection, but nope, my brain switches to be on the clock.
Yeah, you could be right, yeah.
Just like, fuck. Aside from really enjoying the intimacy.
Yeah.
And I think that scene really said a lot. And then, of course, as it progressed, it said something else. I just really I felt bad. I felt bad for that scene.
Courtney says, yeah, I thought something supernatural was going on with that priest. He takes his teeth out and like says some fucking incantation. Yeah, that priest is fucking freaky. I was a little surprised by the way the movie ended. Like, I mean, just like in totality, like and sort of what I mean is like the mortality rate, I guess I'll say.
You're saying business picked up pretty quickly.
Yeah, business picked up very quickly, and you know, there's very few survivors, and the ones that do survive surprised me. You know, in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, like this movie definitely didn't hold back any punches, and you did, you know, like whether or not it worked, like they did connect you to these characters, you know, like whether or not you felt, you know, you like the characters, that's another question, I guess. But you know, I feel they did a good enough job to endear you to the characters. And so when some of the characters, you know, like cease to be, you know, it's like, you know, it's kind of like, oh fuck, like, you know, that person, like, I don't know, like you feel like you connected with them in some way, or you know, regardless of what they do, or like what aspirations they may have beyond that, like it feels like, you know, like that was kind of a good person, right? Like that probably didn't deserve this. So I thought that really, it really kind of played with that, because these are people who, I don't know, I don't want to call them bad people, because they're not necessarily, you know, we don't really know them all that well outside of this bubble, right? So it's hard to really say, but I feel like that doesn't really matter. It's just that you're watching this and you're, you know, just kind of like letting things unfold and seeing what happens, and it's hard not to like some of these characters in that way, you know?
Agreed. And these are people who are definitely riding the outlaw trail.
Yep.
But I feel that for living that life, I feel overall they weren't bad people. I think they still, you know, they're probably way more attractive than anyone who would really be at this Mos Eisley fucking rest stop. Not for nothing, but I think they were overall, they did have a connection. But at the same time, they could still break out in the middle of the night, and it wouldn't be unusual. But I think they were a tight clique, and I like that. I think it was shown.
Yeah.
Casual Noob Saibot says about the priest: if he kept his teeth in his mouth, he might have been able to fight back. That's true. He's not wrong. Let's see. There was something else I was going to mention. I talked about the kills and the gore. What was the other thing I was going to bring up? I don't actually remember what I was going to bring up now. But we should probably wrap this one up anyways. I think we've said a lot. Oh, I guess one of the things I was going to say, we were talking kind of how this was like a bold move for some of these actors. And like, for instance, Eden Brolin, I don't really know. I haven't seen her in much other than Arkansas. And, you know, I've heard of a lot of the other things that she's been in, but I haven't seen too many of them. But this feels like, you know, it feels like she, being the daughter of Josh Brolin, that eventually we're probably going to see her as like a big star eventually, like I would imagine, you know? And this feels like something that is like potentially, you know, a movie that could be viewed negatively by some people, you know, like if that's in their filmography, you know, like, ooh, I don't know if we want to cast this person because they were in this movie that is like a tad racy, you know, like I don't think it should be that way. It's art, right? Like it's shining a light on something, you know, a corner of the world that we might not know about. And, you know, so I thought there was a kind of a bold choice for her to choose this flick, and also sort of, I mean, I guess topless scenes aren't that like it's not that crazy, but she has a quick little flash,
Yeah, to a kid.
Right. Well, yeah, to a kid. Yeah.
And I wonder if he was still in the same. It could have been a jump cut. It could have
It
been.
probably was. Yeah, it probably was a jump cut.
There's a good chance that's the case.
Yeah,
I really don't think the kid was on the set for that shot.
Come on, it's like I don't think we got that. Can we do that again, boss? Can we shoot that again?
I don't think my reaction was normal.
I don't think so.
Right?
Do that again.
Take 88.
Take 88. Yeah. Kid,
I'm no longer-
kid, we got one more take. Is like, I just need like 10 more.
I'm no longer six soft.
6 soft.
But then again though, look at kids. Chloe Sevigny and Rosario Dawson. And I'm sure a few other ones.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I guess, maybe I'm looking at it in, I don't know, too much of a Puritan way. Like it's, you know what, like. Yeah, do fucking challenging things. Like, do things that may make people think twice. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just, like, it seems like an interesting choice to choose this film. But, I mean, it was a good role. I mean, I feel like she, I thought she was one of the best parts of this. I think a lot of the characters were really good, but I thought she was one of the best parts.
Yeah.
I think her character was more of like the linchpin. She wasn't in the relationship. She wasn't super close with Levi, didn't seem, but seemed like she was the team player. Like she teamed when the madam couldn't deal with the stuff. She.
Oh, right. Yeah.
She jumped in when nobody else was working that night. She did her role, and she tried to rally the troops at a certain point. So I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
the other thing I was going to ask. So we talked about the slasher aspects. MZ, would you consider this an exploitation film?
No.
Because I've seen it tossed around that it's like a slasher exploitation film.
No, it's if it's considered an exploitation film through nudity, no. If it's considered an exploitation film through the, I guess you could say
Sex
the inner work, sex work, no, it's not. That's not exploitation. No.
So it's more or less just a slasher that takes place in
that's all.
Rest stop sex workers.
Exactly, that's all it is. And anybody who says that this is exploitation doesn't know exploitation.
And in a way, like I could see this playing like Grindhouse midnight style showings,
See, I don't know if it could.
No.
It's got the.
What do you mean? Why not?
I don't. Oh, maybe. All right, maybe. Well, it's not fun.
Oh well, I mean, like Grindhouse, isn't always fun,
All right, maybe. All right, yeah. But like
I mean, Grindhouse isn't just exploitation. It could also be just regular horror as well, and that's exactly what this is.
Okay.
It's a horror film. It's not exploitation. So, I mean, if you want to say that this could be seen in a Grindhouse film theater, in a Grindhouse theater, that's fine. You can go ahead and think that. That's perfectly fine, and I'm down with that. But I can't call this exploitation because there's nothing exploited.
That's fair.
Now, if the entire movie was based on sex and rim jobs and all this other shit that goes on in the Iron Pit, then yes, I could see that happening. But no, it's more than just it's more than just hand jobs and money. I mean, there's a story here, and it's about both sides on both ends of the spectrum having the same kind of problem meeting together. There's a central story involved. So no, there's no exploitation here.
I'm sorry. Everything you said is awesome, MZ, and welcome back. But rim jobs in the Iron Pit is fucking brilliant. That's a.
Was it rim jobs in the Iron Pit?
Iron Pit.
Yeah. Look at Wolfie just typing that shit.
I gotta take notes, right?
2 go in, only 1 leaves. Rim job in the iron pit.
Rim jobs in the iron pit. 2 come, but 1 leaves.
I think 1 comes and 2 leave.
Or 1 comes and 2, yeah.
It was a good hand job line there too, but no, rim jobs in the iron pit. Yeah, that's exploitation, motherfuckers.
Get your tickets now.
Yeah.
This
Sunday. Rim jobs in the iron pit. All right.
Remember, it's only a movie. It's only a movie.
I think on that note, I think we need to head to the verdict on this one.
Let's do that.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right. It is verdict time. We're going to let you know whether Candyland was a trick or a treat and any final thoughts we may have. Let's kick it off with MZ.
Well, this is a good movie. It has its flaws, in my opinion. Suspension of disbelief, I feel, plays a part in enjoying this film. Although it does get down and dirty in this sex trafficking business. A lot of it I believe in because I've worked in warehouse. I've worked with these truckers. I've worked with these truckers, and I'm telling you. No, seriously, I'm telling you. Truckers can be pretty skeevy people. They really can be. I've met hundreds of them, and male, female, young, old. There's a lot of them are really skeevy people. A lot of them are really nice, but a lot of them are really skeevy people.
MZ, you could make a few more Benjamins on the side if you wanted to.
Well, what time you want me to come over?
No, I'm talking about the truck drivers.
Oh.
Ring down to Baltimore and see what happened. It's over.
Sunday. Rim jobs in the iron pit.
Is there any tension in this movie? There's only one scene of tension in this movie, and that's with Levi. That was masterful. Everything that was done in that scene was spectacular. Loved it. The rest is good too, but it doesn't hold anywhere near that scene. It seems like that scene is going to anchor this movie, as far as I'm concerned. The rest is good, but that scene is great. The pacing seems a little wonky to me, though, at times. I felt like the bond that Remy makes with everybody else, I felt a little rushed to me at the beginning, anyway. But as the movie progressed, it warmed up to me. It felt more natural. It felt more real. Then when all hell breaks loose, I think that's hell. I think that's settled out pretty nicely too. I think they handled the material on that pretty well too. The gore is good. The ending is the kind of ending when you're into this movie, you kind of forget about a couple of other things. So when you see this ending, it kind of surprises you a little bit, as it did with me. So that's a bonus point for me. So yeah, I'm gonna, for the longest time, I was thinking back and forth, how am I going to rate this movie? It's a treat. This movie's a treat, but what level of treat? There's a lot of good stuff in here, a lot of stuff that's mediocre, and a couple of things that could have been better. So I think after all is said and done, I think I'm just going to give this a straightforward treat. This is not a tepid treat. This is not a massive treat. This is just a straight down the middle treat, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. How about you, Raven Shadow?
I also struggled with how I was going to classify this. As we mentioned, from the jump, totally sucked into this world, and I felt it was a thing. I thought the actors, all of them, put on amazing performances and were called upon to do stuff that, could be considered daring. And maybe not the most outrageous thing, but still, I think you have to step out of your comfort zone as an actor to play some of these parts, whether it be the nudity, whether it be some of the just experiences, or maybe some of the dialogue. I love the set pieces. I felt like I was in this world. It was not a fun world to be in, and it's not supposed to be. I thought the turn was a great gimmick where, like I said, a slasher. I think setting is really important. It's great to get out of the fucking campground, right? Like, let's get out of the fucking campground. Let's take some stuff to different locations. And I don't remember a lot of slasher rest stop movies that we've seen a lot of that I can think of.
I've never seen one.
Yeah, and rest stop exploitation. But I was on the verge too. Like, would this be a tepid treat? Because I don't know who I can recommend this to. Like at Easter, be like, you know what, Dad, Al, I got a movie for you to check out. He's not gonna like that. No one has a Harley in this, but I don't know if I'd ever watch this again. But I thought it. I was really intrigued. I remember watching this Mary, and she's like, "Is this a horror movie?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know." The weapon was a great gimmick, and I can't believe we have not seen that before. Right? Like, I'm like, oh shit, that makes total sense. It's total badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark, it's sleazy, it's not easy, and a little bit greasy.
You greasy bastard.
You greasy bastard. I'm with MZ. It's a straight up treat. I just don't know if I could ever watch it again, but I'm down with whatever anybody in this cast does again. I could see me seeing this one more time. I just don't know when, and not tomorrow.
And not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. Treat.
All right. For me, I'm pretty much on board with you guys. This is a treat for me. I in reading the synopsis, and I didn't watch a trailer for this one prior to choosing it for the show, but I just figured that this would be interesting talking points, interesting conversation, and it seemed like something we hadn't seen before, and that's kind of what drew me to it, and that's sort of what we got. And I feel like the horror, I guess the slasher part of it was more than I anticipated, and but in addition, like, I was actually surprised at how brought into this world I was, and how much I liked the characters. And I think that speaks to the performances and the writing and the directing. I feel like this was well executed, and it took a film. Like, if you tell most people like what this is about, chances are they're probably going to expect pure titillation, right? And just like, like a pure late 80s, early 90s slasher with lots of nudity, right? Like, but this is that in a way, but it's not done for titillation. It's just that this is the world that we're presented with, where this story takes place, and I feel like they normalize it. And that's one of you guys had said that there was a lot of nudity in the first like 20, 30 minutes or whatever. And I feel like that was done with purpose to sort of desensitize you to that, so that you could actually get into the story and not be like, oh, boobs, or whatever. But look at these BSOs, or these VSOs, Raven Shadow.
Yeah, once again, not saying, everyone was perfect. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But yeah, it wasn't USA Up All Night. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it wasn't.
It wasn't. What's the movie I'm thinking of?
Ain't no fucking
Slumber
Evilton.
Party Massacre or whatever. You know, like. Although actually, that I mean, I haven't seen that in years, but I think that has some more beneath the surface than I remember. But yeah, so I think overall, I was surprised at how much I actually got into this, given what I knew about it heading in. So I'd say that kudos to the director and the writers and the actors, and for making me almost forget about what this movie was, and just kind of getting in and enjoying it. You know, so yeah, I mean, this is a treat for me. This is now the second film we've done from the director John Swab, and you know, I'm definitely curious to see what else he'll do. This was an interesting take and something different that I hadn't quite seen before. So, you know, I always like that. Curious to see what we get next. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for our discussion of Candyland. I have the movie picked out for next week, I'm fairly certain, but I actually want to just make sure, double check and just make sure that it's going to be available, because I know sometimes we run into issues. So I'm going to start playing the voice messages, and then after I'll come back and let you guys know exactly which film we'll be doing next week. But in the meantime, let me get something queued up here. All right. So we're going to hear from our buddy, Arkham Josh, and let's see what he has going on. Let's talk to the man.
Hello, Trick or Treat Radio guys. It's Arkham Josh here, just calling in, catching up on the last 2 weeks' films. First off, I would like to say welcome back, Monster Zero. It's very exciting to hear you back. And looking forward to being on the show again to get to converse with you once more. So interesting comparison in the last 2 weeks of films. So I'm going to title this voicemail "A Tale of Two Exploitations." So last week was Mad Heidi. Mad Heidi is definitely a throwback homage to the late 80s, 90s, straight-to-video exploitation boom, where it didn't matter how little money you had or how little story you had, as long as you threw something gratuitous, offensive, or extreme on the screen, people would rent it and you'd make money. Now, with all that said, I'm not trying to bash the film. I wasn't huge on Mad Heidi. But it did have some fun characters, some fun scenes, but overall, I just think it didn't quite gel for me. And as you guys had mentioned, I also agree that the mix of practical and CGI, it did not work in the case of this film, because many other films will use CGI to augment a practical effect. And, you know, they both work well in tandem. And that was not the case with this film. This case was some practical effects with some CGI effects thrown in, and then the decent level of the practical effects just served to make the digital effects look that much worse. So I'm going to give Mad Heidi like a tepid treat. It's like they made a film, and it's got some funny parts, and it had some good characters. So I'm going to give them that. It's kind of a recommend. You know what I'm going to say is, when this, or if this eventually pops up on a streaming service that you already have, give it a watch. It's kind of fun. But I can't recommend people go out and actually pay to see it. But this week's film, Candyland, then this is interesting, because this is more a throwback to the 70s to early 80s type of 42nd Street grindhouse exploitation film. It's more serious in tone. It's still very exploitative and gratuitous, but it just seems that everybody involved is taking the project a little bit more seriously, and they're telling a more serious story. So it all just kind of comes off as a little more cohesive and believable in a way, because this was a fantastic movie, had a great cast, had a great story. It definitely had some plot holes in the story, but the way the story flowed, you kind of didn't really dwell on things. Definitely interested to check out more of John Schwab's work, because this came off really well. And I'm actually going to say right now too, Candyland has an absolutely awful looking poster or thumbnail art design. Do not judge it by that. It's got a poster that is more suited to, say, like a film of the slapdash nature of Mad Heidi, when it is a much better film than that art would suggest. So I'm definitely going to give Candyland a big treat and recommend. It's also interesting to look. I did a little bit of looking. I could not find a budget for Candyland, but it's just interesting to see what people can do, both on a low budget, both with just having a couple of like recognizable people and a small story. I don't know. It's interesting. But so Mad Heidi was a tepid treat and barely a recommend, and Candyland is a big treat and a big recommend. And yeah, I don't know. Interested to hear what you guys thought of this week's film, and I'm looking forward to talking with you guys again soon. All right, bye.
All right, Josh. Always great to hear from you. And yeah, so he had some thoughts about the last two flicks. Kind of interesting. I guess in a way they were both throwbacks. Like one with Mad Heidi being kind of a throwback to more of like the Grindhouse revival, I would say. And this, kind of like you said, was felt more genuine because it was serious, and so it seemed like maybe more like the more genuine article as far as like the Grindhouse stuff goes. So, always good to hear from Josh, and always great to hear his insight. All right, so next up we have another video review, Raven Shadow. I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
But Casual Noob Sabat and he uploaded a review to YouTube. And so now I'm going to go ahead and push this live. So if you guys are watching the video, you'll see Casual Noob Sabat. If you're listening to the audio podcast, you'll just hear his voice. But this is a video review from Casual Noob.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, sorry. Muted it so I didn't play it during Josh's. Let me start it over. Okay, now.
Okay, I just finished watching Candyland. Just got, I guess, released this year, 2023. I don't know. It was on VOD. So this is a movie that was suggested by Trick or Treat Radio. Shout outs. Guys, what did you suggest for me to watch? I mean, I've seen some bad horror movies, some good horror movies. That was just a weird horror movie. I mean, okay, so it deals with sex workers at a truck stop / motel kind of thing, and you basically get I guess we're gonna get slight spoilers, but you get people who are trying to religiously save or cleanse the sex workers or the people at the truck stop, and there's all this weird stuff. There is some weird, like, I would call it like, because the movie was set in the 90s. It reminds me of like a Hail Bob kind of like a cult like thing, which they were. They were a cult.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Yeah. And it was just out there. I mean, don't get me wrong. The performances and the story of these workers, what they went through, and how they endured what they did, and the things that happened to them at the place, was very interesting. And you saw that people started dying, so something was going on. And you kind of had an idea what would be going on with all this stuff. But, I mean, it was just, I mean, you know, hats off to Alec Baldwin. That was a very, that was a unique, one-of-a-kind performance.
Yeah.
That I would not expect. That was Alec, right? I
William, yeah.
So that was an interesting, very surprising performance if that was Alec. But definitely I mean I enjoyed the movie up until the end. The ending was just like, it was just like, oh, okay, I guess I kind of expected that. There was like no resolution, but I guess there was a resolution. Yeah, so this movie was a trick. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep the party going, guys. Thanks for the movie suggestion. This is Casual Noob Cybot signing out.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, new boy. All right. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you.
Hey guys, this is Rachel.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
At the
Hold on.
requested and long-awaited.
YouTube just started playing another video. All right, there we go. Okay, now we're back.
Big ups, Casual Noobs. Hi,
yeah,
bud.
big ups for sending in your video review, and we appreciate you taking the time to do that. And yeah, it definitely was a one-of-a-kind performance by William Baldwin.
But to his point, though, I mean, he looked like fucking Alec Baldwin.
He does, yeah. We talked about that. Definitely, it looks like him. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, keep them coming, man. If you want to keep sending in the voice messages, or video messages, we'd love to play them. So, there you go. Thanks. And if you guys want to, I just closed the window. Casual Noob Gamer is his YouTube handle. So if you want to check it out, he's got a bunch of video reviews. If you guys want to give it a look on YouTube. Okay, so I have confirmed the movie will be released on VOD. So we'll go ahead and talk about that now. So it's going to be released on VOD tomorrow, actually. So Friday, January 13th. So it'll be actually playing in select theaters and also on VOD. And the name of the movie is The Offering. And The Offering is it's interesting for the synopsis is just seems very generic. A family struggling with loss finds themselves at the mercy of an ancient demon trying to destroy them from the inside. So that seems kind of run of the mill. But I feel like there's a little bit more going on here beneath the surface. It does star Paul Kaye, who was in Game of Thrones as Thoros of Myr. I don't remember the name. I see his face and I remember him. I don't remember exactly what role he played, but I just remember his face and seeing him in it. But anyways, features him, and let's see if I recognize any of these other folks. Emily Wiseman looks familiar to me. She was in that movie Winchester, which I actually never saw, but
Not very good.
no. Oh, well, she was in that. But anyways, this movie feels. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give too much away, just in case because I haven't seen it. But it deals with Jewish mysticism, so ancient Kabbalah, which is very interesting to me. So I'm curious about this. We've seen, we did The Vigil last year, I think, and we did Demon a few years back. But there's definitely not a lot of horror that explores Jewish lore. So
No.
I'm interested. I thought this one would be a good one. I've seen some decent reviews. And so we're going to be doing The Offering, and it'll be popping up on VOD on the 13th. So if you're listening to this live, it'll be tomorrow. And I'm just seeing if I recognize the director from anything else. Looks like he did a couple shorts, and then he did A Night of Horror, Nightmare Radio, in 2019, and it looks like it was a anthology, and he did one of the segments. So, but this will be his feature film debut, and so we'll be talking about The Offering next week. Jesus.
Oh shit!
Oh.
So I have time to watch it then.
Raven Chow, you got plenty of time. You don't have to do it in one sitting like you have been doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Maverick again.
What, the Mel Gibson movie? That Maverick?
That's pretty funny. No, that's yeah. No, I'm gonna watch that tomorrow because that's funny. That's very funny to me. Thank you.
Who else is in that?
Was it Will? No, who was the chick?
Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster.
Yeah, Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, James Garner.
James Garner. Yeah. And
Alfred Molina's in it too.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
And Dan Hedaya, that guy's fucking awesome.
Oh, love that guy.
maybe I will watch that, but it's probably not good.
Art LaFleur.
Nice.
Wow. All right.
I think you're gonna watch it now. You don't have a choice.
Shit.
All right, so we got one more. I think
Look at
one more voice message. Yeah, one more. And this one is from FTM. First time Mike. Let's see what's up with the boy.
Hey.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. Hope everything is well with everybody. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Raven Shadow. And I'd like to make an official First Time Mike. Welcome back to Monster Zero. Good to see you again, my friend. And I just got two things tonight. First of all, I have a name for Monster Zero's recording studio. I'd like to call it the Rocky Overhang. Because even though in my heart of hearts I was hoping that Monster Zero would open up a supper club in Maine called the Rocky Overhang, but that's just my suggestion for his studio name. Also, Monster Zero, I would just like to know your thoughts a bit on, you got to meet Ruggero Deodato several times, and I would like to have, what are your thoughts about his position within your classic Italian horror directors? How does he rate amongst like Fulci, Argento, D'Amato, Sergio Martino, those types that worked in both like the giallos and the horror? And I just want to know your just a couple thoughts on that, if you'd like to share those. This is first time Mike, wishing everybody the best. Have a good one. First time Mike drop out. Bye.
Yeah. Well, first off, before you answer the question, MZ, what do you think about calling your studio the Rocky Overhang now?
I don't know.
Casa de Zero, you moved out of, so.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, well, let it marinate.
Rocky Overhang.
Broadcasting from the Rocky Overhang. It is Monster Zero.
I'll have to figure that one.
All right, well, think on it. But
But
first time
as
Mike's
far
a
as
good
his
dude,
question-
so consider it.
Yes, I will. As far as his question goes, he, as far as I'm concerned, was a game changer, just not in horror, but in cinema, period. This guy worked with Sergio Leone. He, or rather, Sergio Corbucci, I meant to say, when he worked on Django. And of course, he worked on his dramas and his action films. And of course, the cannibal films is what really propelled him and what really made him a horror legend, even though he doesn't consider Cannibal Holocaust or Jungle Holocaust to be horror films. That meant to be a statement of the society of news and news outlets of the day back then. But he was a real game changer in how in the structure of how he made those statements. Found footage films. I mean, it was unheard of, and the way it was handled was masterful. And so, and ever since then, I mean, yeah, it started all over again with Blair Witch Project, and it hasn't stopped since. But if it weren't, honestly, really, if it wasn't for Blair Witch Project, I don't know if anybody would still be looking at Cannibal Holocaust the same way as they do now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Knowing what you know, but but looking back in hindsight, but you never know about these things. And like I said, he's a game changer, and he created a whole different subgenre, not just in horror, but in a lot of genres in film. So, yeah, he places an important part. Now, how high does he rank on my list? As far as Italian goes, he would definitely be somewhere in the top. He would be somewhere in the top 10. I don't know if he would be top 5, but he would be in the top 10 somewhere. I'd have to give it some thought. It's hard to beat Argento and Fulci and Bava Jr. And so I'd have to give it some thought, but he's definitely in my top 10 somewhere.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know that. I didn't know that he, let's see, Ruggiero Diodato was the assistant director and second unit director for some of the Spanish sequences for Django. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at that. I learn something new every day, Raven Shadow.
With Franco Nero.
Yeah, fucking Franco Nero, yeah. That guy's a fucking treasure.
That guy's still kicking, too.
I know. It's crazy, right? Like,
yeah.
When was that movie? 66.
Yeah. Great movie. Great movie. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's fantastic. It's so good.
How old is Franco Nero now?
He's got to be in his late 80s by now, I would think.
He was born in 41, so yeah, he's 82, I guess.
Oh, 80. All right, 82, 81. Yeah.
Crazy, yeah. I mean, obviously we've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but I can't help but think of The Visitor when I think of Frank O'Neill now. I fucking love that movie. Oh my fucking god! I should watch that again sometime soon. It is absolutely insane.
That's a great movie.
All right, so what's that, MZ? What was the last thing you said?
With a killer soundtrack.
Oh man, that soundtrack, yeah, to fucking die for. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
All right, let me just do a last check on chat here. Casual Noob Saibot says Mel Gibson loves him a good Kabbalah movie, I heard. Oh, God.
Probably not.
Probably not. And I think we covered chat. Let me check. I think we got all the voice messages out of the way. Yeah, I think we're clear. So I think that's it. Cool. All right. Well, let's. Do you guys have anything else before we say our goodbyes? No.
Not really.
Not really. All right. So let us do that. Let's say our goodbyes, starting with MZ.
Arrivederci, douchebags.
Raven Shadow.
I do regret. I'm fascinated by fucking Aries' thoughts about this film. So we need to we can't table this. We have to circle back to
if he saw it.
He's gonna fucking see it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, when we do like a subtitle movie in like a few weeks or months, and he gives us shit, I'm gonna say you didn't fucking watch this movie. You would have, or you weren't on to talk about the movie. You would have fucking probably loved it.
I want like a supplemental, some fucking thing. But until that, the Fast Love Hard Survive with your mask on.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. So we appreciate you guys tuning in for episode 546. And as I mentioned, next week we'll be talking about the film The Offering. It'll be appearing on VOD and in select theaters on the 13th of January. Give it a look. And then come back next week. Let us know what you think. Feel free to leave a voice message, podcast@trickortreatradio.com. Or a video review. Or, carrier pigeon or Raven, whatever. Raven's more show appropriate. So maybe send it via Raven. But there you go. So come back, join us next week, hang out with us, and let us know what you think. What are you digging? What are you watching? What do you think of the movies we've been talking about? All that good stuff. And I think without further delay, we should put put a cork in it, Raven Shadow. So I think that's going to do it. So, all right, everyone, we will see you guys next week. Have a good week.